Command codes verified. Priority 1 message from Starfleet coming in on secured channel.
Usually swear on Jake.
Well, shit.
Oh, that's great, Jake. I literally just brought us live. And
Wow.
That was good. That was nice. Hi, everybody, and welcome to the live recording of episode 410 of Priority One, a Roddenberry Star Trek podcast, your weekly report from the Star Trek multiverse. Thanks for your patience. Our after-hours discussion on Discovery went a little longer and a little more heated than
discussion. That implies
discussion.
Civil discourse.
I only told Anthony that he was an idiot once. That's not true. I've never.
My favorite part is when you started off and said, "I don't want to argue," and then for the next 45 minutes to an hour, all we did was argue.
Look, it makes for good radio. It makes. For
I hope
good
so.
radio.
I hope people enjoy that.
I don't know why the restream chat window disappeared. Hold on a second. I'm gonna try to get on the stream so that people can see themselves typing.
Oh, Jason is watching us on Twitch.
Jason.
Hey, Jason.
Oh, Jason
Smith.
Jason Smith. Yeah. Yep.
So.
And so it's Cat.
Anthony, tell them about the our clothing choice today.
So we are we're all donning a DC Universe apparel. Elijah has the Batman Van Gogh. Can you say something, Elijah?
Hello.
I am wearing a Central City Cross Country Club t-shirt with the Flash, and you can't see it, but Jake is wearing. Oh, actually, you know what? Can I share my screen? Can I pop this picture up and share my screen?
I think so.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah. Oh,
Sorry about the mess on the desk.
mess? I think you mean returnables. Yeah. Where does my? How do I? Oh God, I forgot how to do this in. Oh, how do you share the screen? And oh, here we go. Share. There we go. Oh, host has disabled participant screen sharing.
Oh man, they changed everything here now.
Oh, you know what? Hang on. I'll bring it up on my phone. So Jake does not have a camera, but he is wearing a Superman t-shirt. Really close. Yep, that's how close I'm getting. There we go. Ah, there he is. That's Jake. I'm gonna hold this here the whole show, so that people can see Jake whenever he talks. There we go. And I'll be out of focus the whole time. Everybody will enjoy that. So Jake, how are you tonight?
Great, Anthony. How are you?
I'm great. This is the first time you and I have been on a show together.
It is. I'm excited.
Although we have actually met in person a couple of times.
We have, and it's been a fun time
I'm really
every
jealous.
time.
I'm really jealous that you guys get hung out.
I've hung out with Jake more in person than you have, Elijah.
Yeah.
That is true. Jake, Jake and I have only met once.
Yeah. And that was a great time too.
I'm jealous of that because you guys were on Jordan Hoffman's Engage podcast.
Yeah, he showed me around New York. We were there for
It
like
was
6
his
hours.
first time in New York. I cannot believe that. It was your first time.
Really?
And I did the thing that I used to make fun of people on TV for doing. I walked around going, oh, "Can you believe this place?" Place.
No, you know what? Well, then again, you are a firefighter. Because it was such a rainy day. Like it was so rainy. And we got soaked. We got drenched. We got caught on the way out. We got caught in a downpour. And I was like, Jake, grab this garbage bag and put it on my backpack because I have my laptop, please.
Yeah. What was the restaurant we went to?
Stardust.
Yes, that was cool.
Stardust.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Yeah. And I took this week. I took Anthony to O'Rourke's. It's a place in around where I used to live, and I don't remember it being such an old bar. We walked in and we were the youngest guys in there by like 15, 20 years. What the hell happened to this place?
So speaking of All right, I got the chat working. So they did an update to the chat client, and now it's all messed up. But anywho, speaking of events and parties, captains, those of you on the East Coast, particularly the New York, Philadelphia area. Hey, Ronnie. We will be at the Roddenberry's second album debut with special guest J.G. Hertzler. That is happening on Thursday, June 27th. And tickets are inexpensive for the most part. You know, it's $18. Actually, general admission I think is pretty inexpensive. A seated ticket was $18. If you want the VIP, which I think gets you, I don't know what the VIP gets you. That's $28. But I will definitely be there. Anthony is slated to be there.
I'll be there.
He'll be there. So we're going to be partying with the Roddenberrys. They're a fun group, a fun musical group that does Star Trek themed songs. Yeah, they're just, I've met them in person. They're a wild bunch. They played for Roddenberry Entertainment at Vegas during the 50th when Roddenberry had the stage, the Roddenberry Network stage, entertainment stage at the convention. So if you're in the Philadelphia area, we will be there, and we'll have a table. We'll have, I think we're actually even gonna have some stage time. I don't know. It was crazy. It was nice.
Are we gonna sing?
I don't think so. I hope not.
I hope so.
I hope you sing. I'm terrible, but I think hopefully you
oh, that'd be awesome.
Song.
No, Lawrence, I have not finished reading my books yet, but I'm getting.
What books? What books is he supposed to be reading? Lawrence?
I am reading. In order to improve on my criticism, I am reading 2 books. Well, I'm not reading them at the same time, but I have started reading A.O. Scott, who is a New York Times critic, who got a lot of crap for a negative review of the first Avengers movie. I'm reading his book titled Better Living Through Criticism. And also a book titled How to Watch Television.
Sorry.
Look, you know what? Laugh all you want. I am working on improving myself so that I can offer better critiques and better opinions and structure my thoughts better, so that I'm not told, if you don't like it, GTFO.
Just for the record, I have never said that.
I mean,
I think that your points are valid,
but wrong. You're
but
wrong.
No, I don't think that they're wrong. I
believe that your interpretation of the material, the source material, is different from my perspective. You see, in the 23rd century, my view and opinions, blah blah blah. Okay, let's do a show.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, please.
No, please, after you.
I don't. Please, I insist.
No, really.
I'm getting more schnapps.
Yes.
What do they call this? A Canadian standoff?
No, really. Please, I insist.
Careful with the dialects. We don't want to receive angry letters.
Why would we get an angry letter for an awesome Canadian accent?
Okay. All right. Anthony? Did you just leave? I was about to hit record on intro.
Oh yeah, I went up there in the north to get some schnapps. Okay, I'm back though.
I'm pretty sure that's Minnesota.
Sorry about that.
That's Minnesota.
Sorry. What are you talking about? Sorry.
All right.
Sorry.
That's great. Now we're gonna get. We just upset all of our Canadian friends. I am not participating in this. All right, enough. Stop.
Sorry.
I'm gonna hit the big red button for intro in 3. Oh,
wait, are we going on 1 or after 1?
3, 2, 1. I'm gonna say 1, and you're gonna go after 1. So 3, 2, 1.
Click.
By the way, I just in the finale of Discovery, Saru, as he's counting down Burnham, does not say 1, and I almost lost it.
What happened? Say it again.
So when Saru is counting down Burnham before she takes off, he does not say 1. And when he didn't say 1, all I could think of was you.
Your finger twitched.
I was like, oh. I think he does say engage or go or something, but he skips the 1. He just says 2, and then you see on her screen 1, and then he says something, and I was like, wow.
I should stop ripping off priority 1. All right, I'm gonna hit the big red button in 3, 2, 1. This is Elijah, intro sync 1.
This is Anthony, intro sync 2.
This is Jake, intro sync 3.
Intro in 3, 2. Hello, Captains. You're listening to episode 410 of Priority 1, a Roddenberry Star Trek podcast, and your weekly report from the Star Trek multiverse. Recorded live on Tuesday, April 23rd, 2019, and available for download or streaming on Friday, April 26th at PriorityOnePodcast.com. I'm Elijah.
I'm Anthony.
And I'm Jake.
Hello, Jake. Thanks. It's good to have you back again this week, man.
It's good to be back, man. Thanks for having me.
It was such a great episode last week to have you and talk with you. It was great to have Kat on the show as well. Anthony's back. Yay! But Kenna, unfortunately...
Try to hide your disappointment.
But Kenna, unfortunately, needed the week off, so Jake, fortunately, is available. So her loss is our gain, so they say. But it's good to have you back, Jake.
It's great to be back. Thank you.
All right, why don't you tell us what we've got coming up this week?
This week, we're checking out Picard's newest cast members and Michael Chabon's Instagram reveal. Then we hear from Michelle Yeoh about Georgiou and her upcoming... Then we hear from Michelle Yeoh about Georgiou and her upcoming series.
Try it one more time. Then we hear from Michelle Yeoh about Georgiou and her upcoming series, and co-showrunners Michelle Paradise and Alex Kurtzman dish about Star Trek Discovery's sophomore finale. In Star Trek Online and gaming news, there's a new Command Dreadnought cruiser available, and it's modeled after Captain Lorca's USS Baran. Woohoo!
In our on-screen segment, we're discussing the Star Trek Discovery Season 2 finale, Episode 14, Such Sweet Sorrow, Part 2. Of course, as always, before we wrap up the show, we'll open hailing frequencies for your incoming messages.
That's right, Captains. Remember that those hailing frequencies are always open, and we love to hear from you between episodes. So please, reach out to us. We're on Facebook at facebook.com/Priority One Podcast. We're on Twitter and Instagram at Priority One Pod. You can even send us an email via incoming@PriorityOnePodcast.com.
And of course, this show would not be possible without the ongoing financial contributions by our patrons over at patreon.com/Priority One. Thanks to their support, we can continue to produce the quality content you've come to expect from week to week here at Priority One. And don't forget that for those of you that may be unaware or haven't heard us talk about it before, Patreon is a way that you can support Priority One by a monthly financial contribution. And to thank you for those contributions, we have tiered levels of rewards, starting at $1 and up. For instance, at $5, we invite you to a private Google Hangouts chat where you can talk with us throughout the week about the latest headlines or latest episodes of Star Trek. At $10, an entirely separate, unscripted, unedited podcast that we call After Hours, where we dive deep into our opinions of Star Trek or other sci-fi series. If you are interested and want to consider a financial contribution, visit us over at patreon.com/Priority One.
It's me, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Now, let's check out all the latest news from the Star Trek multiverse.
Okay, everybody hit stop.
Rand is watching.
Hey, Rand, what's up?
Rand.
And I think he was telling a Canadian joke in the chat. Which reminds me of another Canadian joke. This actually isn't a joke, but do you know how they named Canada?
How?
So they cut up all the letters of the alphabet. They wrote them out on a piece of paper and cut them all up into individual letters and threw them in a hat. And they pulled them out one at a time and just wrote down whatever they were. So they went C-A-N-A-D-A.
That's not true.
It's true. Swear. You can look it up. Ask the Canadians in the chat. It's very true.
I just created a folder.
Elijah, did you laugh at that?
Not in a little. Not even a little.
Man, that wasn't even lazy writing. That was hysterical. That was good. It was a good joke.
Okay. I'm glad it brings you joy.
Are you?
I wish it brought me the same joy it brings you. I envy your joy. I really do. I really do. I really do. I wish that I could just go into it.
I feel the same way about Orville.
I wish that I can go into it with
I wish I could like that mediocre piece of crap.
Oh my god. You want to talk about weekly morality plays? That show, man.
Oh my god. Are you serious?
Shut up.
Weekly morality plays that were done 30 years before.
Yeah, but
they're literally just rewrites.
Yeah,
Why there's no lawsuit against Orville for that last episode, I have no idea. Like
what,
that is
it Thomas Riker?
Yeah, it literally was that episode, almost like beat for beat.
Okay, sure, but I mean, here's the thing: it is difficult to be original. It is difficult to offer original storytelling nowadays, right? It becomes harder and harder as our culture advances further and further.
I don't disagree with that, but there's.
And so, yeah. Oh, it was straight out, almost tit for tat, the Riker episode. I completely agree, but they told it in a 2019 way that was interesting. I just found it to be, wow, this is a great retelling of the Thomas Riker story. A great retelling. For 2009 with Seth MacFarlane humor. It's going to reach a broader audience that, first of all, it's not pay gated, so it's going to reach a different audience.
Oh my lord.
And it could very well go, oh, you know what, I like this. And then somebody could be like, yeah, that was a story in Star Trek, right? Oh, let me go watch that one,
And then they'll be like, oh, this is way better. I don't even know why I have to watch that other show. I could just watch the 700 hours of Star Trek.
I like Jet Reno.
That's gonna be Jake.
Reno, you're safe.
That's my safe word. Yeah.
I was about to say.
Jake's day.
I was about to say. I was like, that's gonna be. Yeah, Jake is gonna be every time he gets really uncomfortable and he's like.
Every time Mom and Dad fight, I tell them I like Jet Reno.
I like Jet Reno. I like turtles. All right, let's check it out. I'm gonna hit the big red button in 3, 2, 1. This is Elijah. Trek It Out, Sync 1.
This is Anthony. Trek It Out, Sync 2.
This is Jake. Trek It Out, Sync 3.
Trek It Out in 3, 2. If you're bummed about Star Trek Discovery wrapping its second season, leaving you with no more Star Trek for now, CBS wants to remind you that there is, in fact, more Star Trek in the pipeline. I had to muster up if you're bummed. I had to muster that up.
Oh, no. Trust me, I heard it.
You could tell you're an actor.
On Wednesday, April 17th, 3 new cast members were announced for the upcoming Picard series. Alison Pill, Harry Treadman, and Isa Briones.
I think it's Treadaway.
Treadaway, okay. Alison Pill, Harry Treadaway, and Isa Briones. Isa Briones. No details have been given. I'm going to let the audio editor decide which one is better. No details have been given about the role 33-year-old Pill, 34-year-old Treadaway, or 20-year-old Briones will play. But we may not have to wait long to find out. On April 22nd, series scribe Michael Chabon. Chabon. Okay.
Shake your bon bon, Shay bon bon.
On Monday, April 22nd, series scribe Michael Chabon posted a photo of a director's chair with his name printed in Star Trek lettering. Captioned, "First day, #Untitled Picard series." The photo was later removed, but nothing is ever really removed from the internet. For a link to the casting announcement and a screen grab of Chabon's post, check out the show notes.
The first casting that I've been excited about is Alison Pill.
Why?
Because Alison Pill has been in American Horror Story, which I've enjoyed. She was also in Goon: Last of the Enforcers, which was a movie starring Stifler, and he played a hockey goon, and it was awesome.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with... I mean, I tried American Gods for a little bit. I want to give it another rewatch, or rather another attempt.
American Horror Story.
What did I call it?
Last American Gods.
Oops. I never got into... never mind. You know, I just cut all that. There's no point to it. So since... are you going to say anything, Anthony?
Yes.
Go ahead.
So I'm starting to think that the actual title of this Picard show is called Untitled Picard Series. Because they're shooting it, but they haven't said what it's going to be. So either they really don't know, or it's or the title is a spoiler, I think, possibly.
It could be.
As far as the casting announcements go, I always tend to look at casting announcements for these shows, and just see all these young actors who I've never really seen in anything and been like, well, how good is it going to be? I mean, I had the same reactions to Discovery, but then it turned out really well. I thought everybody did a fantastic job. So I have no doubt that they're all going to do a great job. And I mean, obviously I'm excited about this show.
All right, go ahead, Jake.
Star Trek's Untitled Picard series isn't the only upcoming Star Trek content. The In Development Section 31 series also looms in the shadows. Sitting down with Newsweek, Star Trek Discovery star and upcoming Section 31 series lead Michelle Yeoh talked about the new series and what we may be in store for. Quote, "Section 31 is in the works as we speak. We will shoot Season 3 of Discovery first and then move on to Section 31. Section 31 will be more fun, less intense and more fun-driven. Visiting more planets, going around rescuing people in our own way," end quote. Yeoh also talked about Mira Georgiou's frame of mind after coming to the Prime Universe, saying, quote, "Because of Michael Burnham, she's dragged into this universe where everybody is so lame. She's thinking of how she's going to take over this place from that weakling Leland. That's ingrained in her from the Mirror universe. You have to be the best one. You have to take it over. You have to play these mind games," end quote. As Season 2 moved along, though, Yeoh explains how Georgiou began to change her thinking. Quote, "So she's come around to understanding that if I don't kill first and ask questions later, we can sit around and think about it a bit more," end quote. For a link to the article, check out the show notes.
Yum, yum.
No.
Don't. So I think this is great. I know a lot of people were worried about the Section 31 show and what it was going to be, how it was going to unfold. I think with what we saw of where Ash Tyler ended up at the end of the Season 2 finale for Discovery, and also Georgiou's sort of growth and her journey through Season 2 to where she is now, I'm getting more and more excited about this. And I think that it's really going to be something, like she says, it's going to be fun instead of so un-Star Trek-like. I think it'll be enough Star Trek that we'll get it and we'll enjoy it. And I think it has the potential to be more fun and something different that'll add to the variety that they're sort of developing with Star Trek right now.
I mean, I don't know if you ever had the opportunity of watching any of the Renegades fan films, that took Star Trek in a very in a direction that we had never seen before. Very conflict heavy, but still stuck to the core foundation of Star Trek, which is, this is we have to have a theme here. We have to have some sort of morality play, give a morality play in some way, shape, or form. I'm okay with the Renegades concept for Star Trek, right? And if Section 31 plays similarly to that, yeah, sure, it could be fun. My only concern is that Section 31 and our established understanding of it were not cavalier about their presence. They were a secret group. So I hope it's not a ragtag. I hope it's not a group of ragtag misfits going around the galaxy. That's my only apprehension. That's my only apprehension about it. Besides that, I'm not going to invest any emotional, conceptual baggage into any anticipation for this new series.
Right. I'm hoping more for Mission Impossible and less for the A-Team.
Yes, that's great. That's a great comparison, Jake. That's perfect.
Following the Star Trek.
A question.
Sorry, go ahead. Oh.
That's right. Go ahead, move it. Go ahead.
Following the Star Trek Discovery Season 2 finale, Such Sweet Sorrow Part 2, Discovery Season 3 showrunners Michelle Paradise and Alex Kurtzman hit the media circuit. Sitting down with ET Online, Discovery's new showrunner, Paradise, talked about the goals of the finale. Quote, "We wanted to answer all of the questions from the season. Everything that we had tossed up in the air, the signals, the Red Angel, we wanted to be able to answer those questions in a way that viewers would enjoy. We also wanted to pay off the critical relationships in this season, particularly Burnham and Spock. We wanted to pay off those things that we also owe for canon. The reason that our Discovery characters, Michael Burnham in particular, have not been discussed and weren't discussed on Star Trek the original series and aren't part of that canon. Why is that? We talked a lot about how to do all of that." End quote. In regards to the lie the Enterprise crew and Tyler told Starfleet Command about the destruction of the Discovery, Paradise replies, quote, wrapping this story up and being clear that because of the danger that Control presented, because of the spore drive, because of this time-traveling technology, for those reasons and to prevent any dangerous entities from trying to assess these things again, we must nip it in the bud. The lying about it is a protection for Starfleet. That's the reason they do it, and it also makes sure that if Section 31 has any designs on doing the next version of Control, that it can't get out of control, no pun intended, and create a similar problem in the future, end quote. One thing Paradise could not talk about was what was coming in Season 3. Quote, "I can't say anything about Season 3 because I would be flogged, literally. There are people standing outside my office right now," end quote.
Kurtzman, meanwhile, chatted with the Hollywood Reporter. He echoed Paradise's comments regarding the goals of Season 2's finale, but also discussed how moving to the future would create new opportunities for story. Quote, "We love playing within canon. It's a delight and a privilege. It's fun to explore nooks and crannies of the universe that people haven't fully explored yet. That being said, we felt strongly that we wanted to give ourselves an entirely new energy for Season 3, with a whole new set of problems. We're farther than any Star Trek show has ever gone. I also had experience working on the J.J. Abrams films, where we were stuck with canonical problems. That's what led us to go with an alternative timeline. Suddenly, now we're completely free of canon, and we have a whole new universe to explore," end quote. Kurtzman went on to explain that Section 31 will be more in line with fan expectations. Quote, "If you're a fan of Deep Space Nine, you've probably spent the past 2 years saying, what the hell are they doing with Section 31? That's nothing like Section 31, we know. That's nothing like the Section 31 we know. That's exactly right. In Deep Space Nine, they did not have badges or ships. They're an underground organization. What you see on Discovery and our upcoming show with Michelle Yeoh is how Section 31 became that organization and why it was so underground by the time Deep Space Nine comes around. End quote. Did he not watch Enterprise? Finally, Kurtzman has heard the fans and knows we want more Pike. Quote, the fans have been heard. Anything is possible in the world of Trek. I would love to bring back that crew more than anything. It was a huge risk for us. One of the most gratifying things is to see how deeply the fans have embraced Pike, Spock, Number One, and the Enterprise. The idea of getting to tell more... we can cut that too. Both articles and tons of information and clarification about Discovery's sophomore season, including verification that we are jumping 950 years into the future for Season 3, and Control has been neutralized. I totally delivered that differently. Both articles have tons of information and clarification about Discovery's sophomore season, including verification that we are jumping 200... Angulo. Including verification that... You're right, it's not better. Both are... If we were laughing about it, that's not better. Both articles have tons of information and clarification about Discovery's sophomore season, including verification that we are jumping 950 years into the future for Season 3, and Control has been neutralized. Be sure to check out the show notes for links.
Yay.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so there was another part of this article that we didn't talk about, that Michelle Paradise talked about how it didn't even dawn upon them the connection between the story that they were talking about with the nanite technology and all that to the Borg. I don't know, man, but Anthony, I felt like you with the Baul and Armus. It's the connection and the similarities are so striking that how can you not link it or explain it off somehow?
I mean, I thought that the Control, versus Borg thing wasn't quite as I did not make that connection. I thought that it was a stretch to think that they were telling anything with the Borg. However, I've mentioned my concerns with, the Baul, their look versus Armus, even the architecture of their spires versus things we've seen in previous Trek. It does concern me that it didn't occur to them because they clearly are not watching enough Star Trek then if they don't at least say to themselves, oh, this is kind of like that, but we're doing it differently, so we'll be fine.
And, and the other thing, too, is, like I said, kind of in the middle, it's not to be snarky, but if you're going to comment on Deep Space Nine, right, and you're going to use the example of Deep Space Nine, okay, that's them in canon, but Enterprise happened before Discovery. And in Enterprise, they were clandestine. So, is it that he's not watching Discovery? Or is it that he hasn't seen Enterprise yet? Or there's a disconnect that he's not explaining? Or he's not choosing to share? But if you're going to talk about Deep Space Nine, shouldn't you also talk about Enterprise? Which happened before all of this occurred? No? Anybody? Bueller?
Well, maybe my thought is that an unresolved issue isn't really an issue at all, because we don't know how Section 31 evolved from Enterprise to Discovery. We're going to find out how it evolves from Discovery moving forward, but we don't know how that happened. So just because we don't know doesn't mean that it wasn't a valid reason for it to happen. With that said, I'm making excuses.
Don't get me wrong, I love it. Some of my favorite moments about Discovery this season is when they took stories from previous Trek and expanded upon them. You know, Pike's story is an excellent example of this, and I love it when Star Trek Online does that. You know, sure, be creative and tell your own stories. That is also great. Do that well, you know, is the caveat to that. But I also love it when they do expand on certain elements of existing Trek. It, again, has made for some great storytelling in Star Trek Online. But if he's going to show off his knowledge of Trek by quoting Deep Space Nine and mentioning Deep Space Nine, shouldn't you then also say something about Enterprise, which happened before? I don't know.
I think he assumes that none of us watched Enterprise.
Maybe.
Which is kind of a valid point.
He's about a quarter right.
Yeah.
That is such a wrong thing to say.
I liked Enterprise.
I loved Enterprise. It's the only Star Trek show besides TNG that I watched as it aired. And Discovery.
All right. Where do we go to now? Stowe News, and that's Anthony. So, Jake, why don't you?
Okay. Well, captains, that's it for this week's Trek It Out. Well, captains, that's it for this week's Trek It Out. Now let's find out what's happening in the world of Star Trek gaming.
Everybody hit stop. Yay, we're getting the Baran. Boo, it doesn't have a Commander Universal Console. I mean, Commander Universal Console.
Commander Universal Station?
Station, yeah.
Yeah. They just released that in one of the Tholian ships also.
But didn't they do something... Okay, we're going to talk about Star Trek Online for a little bit now. Wasn't there a ship that... am I flying it? Isn't it the I know I'm not flying it, but I was flying. I could have sworn I was flying it. Where it was a universal console, but I guess it wouldn't make it a universal console though. But
a console or a
station. It was a universal station, but there was something special. Maybe it was just that it was in fact just a universal.
Was it a universal? It was a universal. It was a universal class, but it had a specific specialization.
Maybe, I don't know, man. Was it the Gagarin? I think it was the Gagarin. I think Captain Witt's right. The Gagarin.
Yeah, close.
Has a unique bridge layout.
I'd have to look it up. I do know that the new Tholian ship and I guess the brand. I didn't look at this. I didn't look at the full stats of the brand, but if it has a Commander Universal station, those are the only two ships in the game that have. Oh, it doesn't.
The brand does not. I was saying that I wanted to have a Universal.
Oh, the Tholian, the newest Tholian ship, one of the newer Tholian ships that just came out last week or the week before, in the Infinity Lockbox is the only ship that has a Commander Universal Universal station.
Yeah. Okay. So the Gagarin has the Lieutenant Command. Yeah, the Gagarin has a Lieutenant Commander Universal, and then it's got Engineering Miracle Worker. Yeah, it's a Miracle Worker thing. Yeah, I kind of wish that the Baran had a Lieutenant Universal. I think I would have gladly sacrificed the set. That's what it is. That's what it is. Is that it's a command cruiser, right? It's a specialization ship. But what separated the Gagarin was that instead of the lieutenant commander being locked into like science or tactical or whatever, it was universal.
Yeah.
And I wish that they had done that with the Baran.
But the you're saying that seat was also a command specialization seat.
So the Gagarin. Okay, so hold on. The Gagarin has Lieutenant Commander Tactical.
Yeah.
Lieutenant Tactical Miracle Worker.
Okay.
Command Engineering. I'm sorry. Engineering. I'm sorry. Commander Engineering Miracle Worker. ensign
So that's two
science.
miracle worker.
It has 2 miracle workers at lieutenant
One tack and one.
and one engineering.
Okay.
And then ensign science and a lieutenant commander universal.
Okay.
Whereas the new Baran, I don't know what I just typed. It was like Butson.
The USS Butson.
Now I'm gonna have to name my Baran the Butson.
Butson.
Great.
The USS Butson. Now reporting
So
for duty.
this one, Lieutenant. Okay, the stations: Lieutenant Tactical, Lieutenant Tactical Command, Commander Engineering Command,
Commander Engineering Command. Okay.
and then Lieutenant Commander Science. Oh, it does have a Lieutenant Universal. No. But the other one had a. No, I don't
Lieutenant
remember.
Commander.
Yeah, the other one had a Lieutenant Commander Universal.
Yeah.
But this one does have a Lieutenant Commander Science. So, arguably...
It also has a carrier slot, doesn't it? It has a pet slot.
a hangar bay, yeah, it does.
Yeah, it has one hangar bay.
That can release 200 ships for battle!
No. That's the Enterprise when it comes in the game.
Oh, that's what it is.
Please, no.
That was one thing that I was just like, what? Like, what?
Please, no.
I just like now arguably they even said it and they showed it. They were using like every pod they had.
Right.
But still, like 200 between each ship? Like, what?
So now you're taking half your crew. I mean, yeah. I mean, that makes sense because I guess if you take a ship,
Yeah, but
half
pods,
even half those people are gonna have to sleep. So it's battle time. So they're all up.
I don't know. You guys are really, really stretching.
Deep
Wow!
dive.
Holy reach, Batman.
I thought that was an unnecessary like I don't know. I was just like there's no reason to need that many.
It's not even that there's no reason. There is a reason. They're already going into battle. They needed to be prepared. But why 200 shuttles and why not just a one-line thing? Okay, Burnham, we're gonna go now to have the Vulcans warp in and help you guys. Like, why not bring in the Vulcans?
Because some people hate it when they just use one line to explain something.
Oh, really? Because gee, I don't know if you watched the end of season 2 Discovery. Not sure, but I mean, okay, Burnham. I felt there was a disturbance in the Force, Burnham. Now I'm gonna leave so that
hang on. Let me get R2 to fix that.
Now,
Okay.
now that I know that now I know what's gonna happen, Burnham. I love you. Goodbye. I'm gonna go send for reinforcements so that you're not fighting with just 2 ships and a complement of 6 shuttles.
But before we do, let's have a 4-minute conversation while everybody's blowing up around you.
Right.
But look, it was a wonderfully acted and
It really was.
and a wonderful moment.
I jest because I really liked it, but
Oh,
I loved it.
so many moments. So many moments. Then
All right. Oh, look, on screen is next. Perfect.
Perfect. Let's split up the.
okay.
I see nobody. I see Kenna and I were the only ones to write our notes.
I'm Kenna.
Oh, are those all your notes?
Yeah, I have a lot of notes.
My
Jeez.
God.
Yeah, you're gonna have to
Judge me.
either spit right through. We only write 2.
Oh, I'm
dude.
not. No, yeah, I'm not gonna go through all of them. I write everything down because my memory stinks.
I hope. Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Elijah, I'll just go ahead and write your pro.
it ended.
yes. Yeah, actually, I am glad that we can take a nice long break from talking about Discovery.
There we go. I wrote your pro for you.
What's the pro?
Read it.
The special effects are great. So glad. Yeah, the special effects were great. Oh, wait a minute. No, they weren't because it was R2D2.
Oh my god. By the way, for those of you upset about the R2D2 and the Astromechs, there's apparently a sketch of an EV suit from the TNG technical manual that's very similar to those things. So it's quite possible. I'm not saying that this is true. I'm just saying that it's quite possible. I've seen other people relate the two. It's quite possible that there was inspiration from the TNG technical manual for those things. Possibly.
Did you see the note I put? Do you think that devil-looking woman on the bridge of Enterprise
Jesus, Jake.
I'm sorry, was a no, that devil woman. That devil woman. You think she was an homage?
She's the devil, Bobby. She's the devil.
Like you could have said the dragon-looking woman, the dragon-looking woman. No. It was the devil.
That devil woman. You think that she was?
No, the woman that looked like burnt pizza.
All right, you want to do track it out? I mean, we already did that.
No. What were you gonna say? I think
she was an homage to the original Spock design, or was that just a?
I have no idea, but they called her Yeoman Colt, which which apparently is a character from TOS that does not look like that.
Not at all. No, she was a young Yeoman Colt was in the Cage in the Menagerie.
Is she the redhead that's put in the cage? Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's weird. That's weird.
Maybe a retcon?
No. It's we didn't put 2 and 2 together. It's what do you mean you thought it was the Borg? We had no idea.
Oh no, gross.
What do you mean the Baul look like Armis? They're not. That's what that is.
Okay.
The Baul look like Armis.
What? So Lawrence, the thing is that
right, I'm gonna fill my drinks.
Every once in a while they pull out this amazing canon reference that they expand upon. Like Glenn Hetrick said, the reason why Klingons have hair in season 2 is because of this one line from the episode where Worf is telling the story of Kahless fighting Molar, and he cuts off a lock of his hair and he forges the bat'leth into the river of lava. And so they expanded that as the Klingons cut their hair in battle. And then what amazes me is then my headcanon says, oh, well, that's why Chang doesn't have hair in the Undiscovered Country, because he's always at war, and that expands my the essence of canon. I don't know, that's a weird way to put it, but my canon essence, I don't know, it's you know what I mean, it makes it more dimensional, but then they do these amazing things like that, but then I was watching scenes from The Cage tonight, and I noticed that the female uniforms had this V thing that was sometimes off-centered. And I was like, that looks a lot like the Discovery uniform. I wonder if that's something that they noticed and put in, because it was just cool. But then they do things like this where it's what? You thought it was the Borg? That's silly. Come on, guys, really?
Paul, Andre, they already have 2 heads.
What?
He goes, next alteration of Klingons will be 2-headed species.
Waka waka waka.
Thanks, I'll be here all week. Try the beetle.
Tip your waitress.
Careful, kids. We're a PG show.
Yeah, by the way, my Canadian naming joke was way better than that.
It was better. Let's not go crazy.
What'd you say? What did you say, Jake?
I said it was better. Let's not go crazy. It wasn't way better. Yeah. I'm just kidding. They both sucked. I'm just kidding. Again,
I don't like you at all tonight.
I'm sorry.
Jake's
so
got
glad
jokes.
you're here, Jake.
Jake's got jokes.
Jokes and jokes.
Sorry. Don't be sorry. Drink another Miller Lite.
Have another glass of water. All right, everybody.
Are you calling Miller Lite water?
I'm going to hit the big red button in 3,
Oop.
2.
Oop.
I'm going to do, Anthony, since you end Star Trek Online News, I'm going to do the computer.
Okay,
Did we didn't hit start, right?
No.
I did not hit the okay.
fine. Who's reading? Are you guys?
Cannot-
You guys are doing the.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to hit the big red button in 3,
'Cause
2.
I
You
sound
have a
too much
whole
like a
segment for yourself.
Oh, that's true. Oh, that's true. I never thought of it that way.
I'm going
Yeah,
to
you're right.
hit the big red button in 3, 2, 1. This is Elijah on screen, sync 1.
This is Anthony on screen. Sync dose.
This is Jake on screen sync 3.
On screen in 3, 2. Computer. Set Star Trek Discovery Season 2, Episode 14. Such Sweet Sorrow, Part 2. On screen.
While Leland and his Section 31 fleet move to weaken shields on the Discovery, a fully charged time crystal is raced to a completed Red Angel suit, leaving Stamets gravely injured. Things look grim as Burnham steps into the time-traveling armor, but everyone keeps a level head, getting Burnham and Spock to safety, allowing her to plot a course to the future. But it isn't working. A frustrated Burnham looks up from an unresponsive holographic display to witness something she has seen in a time crystal premonition. The Enterprise has an undetonated photon torpedo. The Enterprise has an undetonated photon torpedo in its hull. On Enterprise, the undetonated photon torpedo is about nearing detonation. On Enterprise, the undetonated photon torpedo is about nearing detonation. Admiral Cornwell and Number 1 have given it all they've got, and she's gonna blow. Captain Pike's presence changes nothing. So Admiral Cornwell.
Nah.
Yeah.
Take it from you.
Captain Pike's presence changes nothing. So Admiral Cornwell sacrifices herself for the. Oh, jeepers creepers.
So, Admiral, you can take it from someone.
Okay. So Admiral Cornwell sacrifices herself for the needs of the many, sealing the blast door from the inside and saving the Enterprise in the process. Back on Discovery, Nan and Georgiou chase Leland,
Yum, yum.
who is beamed over in an attempt to secure the sphere data. The pair have been goading him into Discovery's spore drive console, and the Nana-infused operative takes the bait. Leland gets halfway through his Bond villain monologue before realizing that he's been trapped. A bloody Georgiou giggles as Leland judge dooms to his demise.
While the action rages around them, Burnham and Spock surmise that in order to go forward, they must go back. Burnham must ignite the 5 previously discovered red bursts. Like an obstacle from Legends of the Hidden Temple on Nickelodeon. Michael, do not leave that in. Michael travel.
You should read. Can I just write a direction note that says "read with less disdain"?
Do not leave that.
Michael travels back to the USS Hiawatha, Terra Elysium, Kaminar, Boreth, Zahia. The 5 red bursts ignited, relived. Now it's time to go to the future. Spock, however, is stranded, his engine damaged during the battle. Following a heartfelt goodbye with her brother, Burnham ignites the 6th red burst for Discovery to follow, with a course set for presumably 930 years into the future. Following the battle, Pike, Number 1, Spock, and Tyler are debriefed. They assert that Discovery was destroyed, and Spock suggests that the USS Discovery, its spore drive, crew, and the Sphere AI data it carried must never be spoken of again. 124 days later, a clean-shaven Spock in a blue science tunic walks onto the bridge of the Enterprise and learns that a 7th red burst has been ignited in the Beta Quadrant. Pike orders a course to Eridan 2 before Pike orders course set to Eridan 2 before the end. All right, before we jump in, let's talk about some of the touchstones, shall we?
Well, one of the first ones is Reno mentions. Well, first up, Reno is asked to violate the basic laws of physics, to which she replies, no. That is from a long line of great engineers to say something similar, including Scotty and O'Brien. Also, to get to the safe distance for Burnham to jump through time will take 2 minutes and 47 seconds.
I feel like every time we do that, we should do like a Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah.
From
Just do a
Pee
what?
Wee's Playhouse. From Pee Wee's Playhouse, when there was a secret word, we should all scream.
Oh. Okay. Right. Spock's face is a little beat up, so you get to see his green Vulcan blood, which was kind of cool. Number one's name is finally canon, Una, which comes from the Legacy series novels and is partially an homage not only to the fact that she's called Number One, but also for fellow Trek author Una McCormick, who actually penned the recent Tilly novel. We also saw the D7s in action, which was pretty cool. Burnham's advice to Spock foreshadows his relationship to Kirk, which is kind of cool. The time traveling effect is very similar to the time traveling effect in The Voyage Home, when the bridge crew is sort of, like the visual is being pulled, the shrieks, was really neat. Spock quotes Starfleet Regulation 157, Section 3, Paragraph 18, which is the same section that Luxley from the Department of Temporal Investigation quotes to Sisko in the episode Trial and Tribulations. And then the exiting shot of the Enterprise bridge at the end of the episode is the same shot from the cage, but in reverse, when they pull in and out through the ceiling of the bridge.
All right. Well, that was quite a bit packed in there on this episode. I was under the impression that Una, the first time we get Una's name was from David Mack's Destiny novel. Not Destiny novel. Star Trek Discovery. His first Star Trek Discovery novel.
It is her name is in that novel, but the actual first reference of her first name is from the Legacy series, which was a series of books co-authored by David Mack, Greg Cox, and somebody else.
I would just say co-authored by a few.
No. But the first reference of her name being Una is actually from the Legacy series of novels, which was co-authored by several Star Trek authors, including David Mack.
All right, so let's jump into our cons. Anthony, why don't you go ahead and tell us what you liked least about this final episode of Star Trek Discovery?
I think the biggest thing for me is that, I love the character of Michael Burnham, and I love Sonequa Martin Green's performance. And I know that Discovery is all about Michael Burnham, but I'm starting to get a little bit of Michael Burnham fatigue. And I'm probably late to the party on that. But I really hope that season 3 brings some more ensemble. I'm hoping that season 3 brings out the ensemble a bit more. But other than that, I actually had a lot of cons for this, but I don't want to go.
It's interesting that you talk about some Michael Burnham burnout, because interestingly enough, I feel that yes, that we had a lot of the monologues that she would deliver, that oftentimes I felt brought the the plot and the forward momentum to a screeching halt. But I would argue that I think Sonequa Martin Green was upstaged by the character of Christopher Pike. I think that, you know, one of the leading and driving things about Star Trek Discovery was that we had a woman, an African-American woman, in the lead role of Star Trek, and I felt that that was robbed of her a little bit this season in order to expand on a white man. Two white men, you know, Spock and Christopher Pike. Yeah, it pulled me out of that. It put me, you know, it not, trust me, I didn't necessarily want more of Michael Burnham, but I also think that her character could have been treated a little better this season instead of having been upstaged by Christopher Pike, and being careful not to say Anson Mount, because this was at no fault of Anson Mount. I think that this is just the direction that the story took and that the writers decided to take. What their intentions may have been, who knows, but it took focus away from Burnham being and even Sonequa Martin Green being the ambassador for Discovery. I think
Jake,
do you have anything?
Cons, or do you want me to respond to what you just said?
Do you have a rebuttal to what I just said?
Yes.
Anthony?
I feel uncomfortable kind of responding to this as a white man. But I think that may be a perception thing, because if you really watch the last few episodes of Discovery, Pike was really there as window dressing. He didn't do much, with the exception of the time crystal, which is, I mean, a big deal. Burnham was the driving factor in the story. Pike kind of stood there and yelled, "We need to do something. We didn't come this far for nothing." Burnham was the driving factor. I think it's just the fact that Anson Mount is such a great performer, and that's taking nothing away from Sonequa Martin Green, because I think she's exceptional, and the way she delivers her lines and the way she projects emotion is unbelievable. But Anson Mount is so good, and Pike is so legendary to us as Star Trek fans. I think it's a perception thing. I don't think it's an actual thing.
I kind of agree with you, Jake, but I think the reason is because everybody was so longing for a return to traditional captain, that when we got that from Pike this season, it was more pronounced because we had been wanting it. So I don't think that like screen time versus plot points or whatever is more in favor of Pike. I think it's still more in favor of the Burnham-Spock relationship. But I feel like because we wanted that so much, it's more in our minds. The other thing is that it actually occurs to me that the resolution of the Spock-Burnham relationship is more about Spock than it is about Burnham. And I think that may be why it feels like less of a Burnham story, is because in the end, it's like Burnham really doesn't get anything out of it, you know, other than giving advice as a big sister. It's Spock is the one that then has to change and grow. And I think that may be why it doesn't feel like it's as much of a Burnham story.
Right. Burnham serves Spock more than Spock serves Burnham at that point.
So Jake, what did you have any cons for this?
I had a few cons. I did not like the fact that the Enterprise was a carrier over a cruiser for something. Just Star Trek, probably a Star Trek Online thing. It's not a carrier. It's a cruiser. Everything that happens with Burnham as far as the action, and this is more of a season-long thing than it is simply just this episode, but this episode especially, I started pulling hair out, and I'm getting old. I don't have that much hair to spare. Hurry up. Do what you have to do. We'll talk about it later. And finally, I'm not really loving Lieutenant Nan. The yum really comment was probably the worst one, but I'm not loving her. It has nothing to do with the actress. It's just kind of the lines that she's given to deliver.
So look, I could go exhaustively on what I really didn't like about this episode. I'll say this. I think that they sacrificed storytelling and cohesive plot direction for spectacle. I feel that the example of this is, did we need the moment with the R2D2s instead of investing those frames in developing, maybe explaining the red bursts a little more, or explaining why Voke is on a Klingon bridge when just 2 episodes ago he was forbidden from being revealed to the Klingon Empire, at risk of completely collapsing the Empire, right? Collapsing L'Orel's leadership role. Or 200 shuttles out of what we know are not carriers, but instead starship cruisers. Where did these ships come from? I feel that it could have I feel that the spectacle could have served the story better in a different way. So yeah, we could have an awesome space battle, but why not, when Sarek and Amanda leave, say, okay, we're gonna call in, we've brought in reinforcements, and they could be little Vulcan escorts or whatnot, but I had to suspend I had to try to, and I didn't. I did not suspend any of this, and I'm calling it for what it is, as I didn't understand why we had to sacrifice story for spectacle. I think it did it a great disservice. I think it did the story great disservice. Pulling me out of pulling me out of believing how we've come to this moment. So yeah, that's my 2 cents. That's how I would have done it differently. That's how I wish the story would have gone a different direction. Yeah.
I think that's a fair critique. I don't think you're not bashing on Star Trek. That's a fair critique.
I agree.
Pros. What did we like about this episode?
What did
Jake,
you
why
like,
don't you go
Elijah? Oh, Jake, sorry.
Oh, me? Okay. So so the special effects obviously were unbelievable, like they've been all season long. It was great to see the dual beam banks again, probably a Star Trek Online thing, but the sound effects were great. I've mentioned a few times, I love Jet Reno. She has some of the best lines in this episode. Like Anthony said, violate the basic laws of physics. The scene where they're taking the charge time crystal down to the time suit, and she goes, I wrote it down, it was so funny. She goes, he means in case one of us gets dead along the way. I'm going, get off my bleep. Sir, I mean, get off my ass, sir. You're gonna have to bleep that one, sorry.
No, just say it again and we'll bleep it instead of saying ass bleep.
Okay. I'm going, get off my ass. Sir, get off my ass, sir.
Yeah, we could probably just rip the...
Yeah. She makes a comment about, I mean, she's just got such great lines. I thought that Ethan Peck was great. The Klingon, I've got a lot of pros. The Klingon sets were awesome. The Klingon makeup was awesome. The Klingon acting and scenes were great. All of that was really good. The D7s were beautiful. I think every woman in this episode, and I mentioned that I don't love Non, but every woman in this episode was really BA. Like, they were really assertive.
You can say badass. I can't try to translate your protection of censorship.
You don't think BA is pretty well known?
I have never heard anybody say BA.
Really?
I mean, yes. A BA in English.
Right.
Okay. All right.
I'm badass in English.
They're pretty awesome. So, I totally lost my train of thought.
I mean, you think you are, but
you were talking about the women on this.
Yep, they're all fantastic.
Take it from the top of your thought about the.
Okay. every woman in this episode is excellent. I mentioned that I don't love Nan, but even she was really great. They all drove the plot. They made everything happen. Spock was great. Anson Mount was great. I want a Pike spec show. Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of great things that happened, I thought.
All right, Anthony, how about you?
I mean, you know, in the previous episode when they walk onto the Enterprise bridge, like, oh my God. And just the scenes on the Enterprise bridge in this episode just made my heart flutter. And I need a Pike Spock #1 Enterprise show. Like I need air. Like I just need it. And I want there to also be a classic Trek style show, but in the new like style that they're doing. And I think a lot of people would respond positive. I think a lot of people would respond positively to that, just like they responded positively to Pike in this season. And I really hope it happens.
Mm-hmm. Episodic with a memory.
Guys, I've watched this episode 3-4 times already. You know, it had some interesting and impressive scenes, you know, where the one that really got me to go like, yeah, was when Laurel said today's a good day to die. You know, it just Mary Chieffo is such a dedicated performer, and that she has embodied. She did not half-ass being a Klingon. She embraced it. She learned the language. She learned the syntax. She learned the grammar. That's not to say that I think that the expectations were lower in previous incarnations of Klingons. You know, when you're a guest character, you may not want to invest that time. You know, so I'm not necessarily commenting on some of the great actors who have played Klingons before. But she took it. She has set a standard. She has set a standard for what Klingon should be, and how actors should approach being a Klingon in the future. I am sad to see her go. I'm sad that we're not going to see her in season 3. You know, we've been seeing a lot of the goodbye tweets, like, this has been fun, and, you know, in so many words, my contract's not renewed. Thanks for the ride. So I'm sad to see her go. Yeah, I mean, aside from that, I honestly cannot walk away from this episode feeling any satisfaction for the story and the journey that I rode through for the last 14 episodes. Yeah,
I'm surprised Sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm surprised you haven't said anything about Tilly and the Jeffries tube. That was a pretty great scene.
I mean,
like that even?
Again, if it was a fun moment, you know, actually, speaking of moments, a shout out, as I feel like they're my homies. Speaking of moments, actually, you know, the scene between Culber and Stamets was heartwarming.
Yep.
And they delivered it well, but again, it was just hard to believe and hard to understand that the end of that journey, when just last episode Culber says, I'm leaving, you know, and so there wasn't even a time for doubt. There wasn't even a moment to see Hugh's doubt, right? The moment where he goes, I don't belong here. No, he just shows up, you know, and I don't know. I feel they deserved more as an openly gay couple in the Star Trek universe. I feel that they deserved more. Mary Wise.
With you that. I'm sorry. I keep interrupting.
No, go ahead.
I will agree with you that it bothers me that every time something good happens to them, something bad also happens to them. That drives me a little bit crazy.
Right? Why can't they, let them be? Just let those that couple be. So yeah, I have a hard time walking away from Discovery this season, going, wow, I'm glad I went on that journey. And then on top of that, to only have it written off at the very end to say, well, none of this really happened, and if you talk about it, it's treason. So we're all in contempt, and we're all going to be given the death penalty by Starfleet, or spend the rest of our lives on Rura Pente.
I don't think Starfleet does either of those for treason.
They were sending. Where were they sending Burnham?
Not to the Klingon prison planet.
Oh, true. But yeah, that's my 2 cents. I think it's gonna be good. Okay, so the plan is, we do our weekly. We've wrapped up this weekly review of Star Trek Discovery and its final episode. But at the very least, for our patrons over at Patreon.com, I want to get a round table of people together, and we really should block out like 5 hours of our day.
Man,
and
5 days.
And talk about it, and talk about Discovery and season 2, and offer our criticisms. I will say this: I will
2 hours for the discussion and 3 hours for the therapy.
Right. I want to end with this, and if you visited Priority One Podcast's website, you will have seen a blog post that I wrote. I urge all of us to be very cautious about how we treat each other in the community. I am in the camp that criticism is not the enemy of art or any form of entertainment, but in fact an ally. And that you do not have to necessarily be a creator in the medium to have your critiques justifiable. For me personally, as a singing actor, I don't necessarily value or devalue someone's opinion of my vocal ability who is not a singing actor. On the contrary, I might actually think of it as a unique perspective, because they are in fact the audience. They are in fact the person this is designed to pull in. So I would caution the community to be careful about how we talk to each other, how we treat each other, and how we present our opinions. If you're going to critique, then offer some constructive criticism. If you disagree with that constructive criticism, I urge you not to tell somebody then don't watch the show. I think that does a disservice to the franchise. I think that does a disservice, right? You want people to subscribe to CBS All Access. You want people to watch this show. So as long as the criticism is constructive, as long as we have a professional and friendly dialogue, there's no reason that we should have insightful rhetoric. So now that the season is over, reviews are coming in, people are sharing their thoughts. If you see somebody that says something like, oh, that's lazy writing, instead of dismissing it, maybe poke them a little bit, ask them, well, why did you think that was lazy writing? If they cannot articulate it, well, move on. But if somebody writes a thoughtful or attempts to write a thoughtful review, try not to dismiss it, and vice versa. Anthony, you're wrong. Shut the I'm kidding.
I mean, that's all I heard from that.
Hey, you're both
really?
BAs.
Really?
No,
Seriously?
I'm just kidding.
That wasn't...
I mean, I'm kidding. I don't know if you're kidding, but I'm kidding.
Oh, I'm kidding. I thought that what I just said was pretty neutral. Was it not neutral?
Sure.
I mean, I gave a personal example, but I felt that it was neutral, that we should all just get along.
We get along. I mean, we disagree adamantly about Discovery, but we get along.
Yeah.
Right? Right?
You're fired. Get out of here. All right. Why are we still recording?
I don't know.
Because we need somebody to go.
Am I wrapping? Am I doing the sweep? Or are you started doing it, but you didn't finish it.
So actually, Jake, why don't you do the sweeper?
Okay. That wraps up this season's. That wraps up this season's on screen. Discovery season 2 has ended, and we want to hear your thoughts. Send us what you thought of the episode, either via social. Send us what you thought of the episode, either via social media or via incoming at priority1podcast.com, and your comments could be part of the discussion next week. Now, let's open hailing frequencies and see what's incoming.
Everybody hit stop.
Boom.
Boom.
I mean, yes, not for nothing. It is very personal for me because I am actively vocal about not liking Discovery, and I just it boggles my mind when somebody tells me, "Well, then just don't watch it." I just don't you want to share in that like?
Sorry, what? Do we want to what?
Share in that joy. Share like hey.
We do. We do.
With like-minded people?
Yeah, we do.
Without any, God forbid anybody has any discourse to it.
Trek is all about discourse. But if you don't like it, don't watch it.
Speaking of discourse, yeah, thanks, Jake.
I'm sorry. There's the jokes again. I'm sorry.
Jokes. You got jokes.
This is why people don't watch Tuesday nights to listen to the show. They watch it to listen to us.
In between our readings.
Yeah.
All right. File, new audio file.
I can't wait for that round table.
I'm not sure who I'm going to invite yet.
I mean, like,
because I want to walk away. I want to walk away from this round table. I want to walk away from this round table still being friends.
Still being friends. All right, so I won't be there. Al won't be there.
It actually should be none of us. We should just invite a whole bunch of strangers and be like, "Hey, we're gonna record you guys talking. Go."
We should be like, "Hey, Robert, can you just invite a bunch of your friends to talk about Discovery, and you guys do it? We won't do it."
I don't know. Maybe it's a bad. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, maybe it's a bad idea. Let's just let it lie. I just don't get it. I don't. The mentality from content create. Like, I am a content creator, right? And in many avenues of art, right? As a podcaster, this is content creation. And yeah, we've had trolls. Golly, have we had trolls. Right? And so there's a difference between trolling and being critical, right? When we first started our reviews of season 2 of Discovery with On Screen, we got a very heartfelt and honest criticism from one of our listeners, and we took action.
Well,
right? We talked.
Well, not all of us got criticism.
Shut up, Anthony. Such an ego. What a dick.
Hang on,
man.
I'm gonna break the tension here. Lawrence is asking what this is, so I'm gonna show him. It's my puppet. It's a whatnot, which is a Jim Henson puppet. It's a puppet of me. It's my Muppet. That's me. I used to look like that with the soul patch. So.
Right. Yeah. Yes. You did not get it because you are arguably the breath of fresh air in the criticism of Discovery. But did I not, Anthony? Did we not talk about it? Did we not have an internal discussion?
Absolutely.
Did we not do our best?
We had a very productive discussion, and I think that the results were positive, and I think that I as much as
Well, wait, because let me just finish my one little thought.
Sorry,
so
go
what I'm
ahead.
saying is that as a content creator, I think that criticism from the outside source, right, from a person who is not in the realm, who is not in the know, is even almost more valuable than criticism from your peers. Yeah, your peers totally understand, but your peers also totally understand why you cut corners. Right? Your peers also will tell you, oh, well, yeah, of course, you didn't have the budget. Yeah, well, that makes sense. Right? But as the viewer, right, as a theater goer, as the consumer of the art, especially entertainment art. I mean, why?
You're absolutely right, which is why my wife, who is nothing like me, is not a Star Trek fan, is not a like, you know, like she didn't watch Star Trek before I came into her life. And she likes Discovery more than Orville. She just thinks it's a better show.
I'm not gonna take your bait. But yeah, I mean
she does not have the filmmaking and production knowledge that I have, and she just thinks she just enjoys Discovery more than Orville.
That's great. I'm not taking your bait because Orville is a great show.
Also, my actor friends who work in the industry, who work on things like the Marvel Netflix shows and Pokemon and like professional actors and professional set production staff also love Discovery.
Just out of curiosity, what makes them professional? They get paid?
Yeah, I mean, that's their full-time jobs. Like, one is a full-time actor and one is a full-time set sound person.
So they get paid. Great, that makes me a professional. Sweet, because I still get paid. I actually just got a check for a gig that I did. Yay, that makes me a professional, which must mean that my opinion is valid.
I'm not saying you're. Nobody has told Jake. Yes. Has anybody told him that his opinion is not valid?
Actually, Anthony, you kind of have.
Hey,
I have never said your opinion is not valid.
Hey guys, I like Jet Reno.
In fact, Jake, back me up. I'm pretty sure during our previous discussion earlier tonight, I literally said the words, yes, and that is a valid opinion.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have. Yep.
Okay, I'm just checking.
Yep. Hey, what is that behind you? Do you have a Star Trek Starbase?
Oh, I do. This is my I got my game print ship in. Mm-hmm. This is my NX class refit. So you see it's got the drive section there.
What's the name of the ship?
So all of my cruisers are named the Chamberlain, the USS Chamberlain, and it's named after Joshua Chamberlain,
not the Bunsen,
who was a Civil War hero during the Battle of Gettysburg and was from Brewer, Maine, which is about a 25 minute drive from my hometown of Ellsworth. And then this was a Lego transformer that my son made, so nice. I decided to display that. Cool. And the coolest thing is he wrote instructions on how to transform it.
Oh, that is cool.
And he says to transform it from a robot to a plane, you take off the eyes. That's literally what that says.
Genius.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. That's awesome.
Take the eyes off. Then it's transformed.
Yeah,
yep.
Awesome.
Those are the instructions.
Yeah. Cool.
So that's adorable. Also, I got my future Enterprise Eagle Moss ship, which was the 12-month gift. So this is actually my favorite starship in all of Star Trek. Is the 3.
Your opinion is valid. Yeah. It's wrong, but it's valid.
Look, I'm okay with that. Because it's not. I also have any Transformers fans. I have a Unicron transformer that transforms into a giant robot, and he's ready to eat.
That is so wrong on so many levels, man.
What do you mean it's so wrong? Remember, did you ever see the 1986?
Yes, yeah. But
Transformers
can you
movie?
take that off? It almost looks pornographic. I really don't want to see.
Voiced by Orson Welles, his final feature film role.
Yeah, that's fine. Can you stop doing that? Please stop. Just stop.
Unicron.
I'm gonna keep talking so that doesn't show. Can you please stop?
Unicron.
All right, this is a children's show, and I would appreciate that.
Really?
This is a children's show at 1:11 a.m.
That's
Yeah,
true.
okay.
It's not
Look,
true.
the only kids who are up this late are Kenna's kids, so.
True. All right, are we ready? Feedback?
Yes, sir.
We still have more to do. Oh, okay.
Yeah. What do you think?
don't know.
I'm less concerned about how late we go because I'm not going to work tomorrow. So.
Oh, nice.
Why are you not going to work tomorrow?
I took it's spring break for Allie, so I took the rest of the week off to have a little staycation.
Nice, good for you.
Fun
Enjoy.
things. Thank you.
I normally have Wednesdays off because of this show. So.
I'm going to. Yes, I'm not. My Wednesdays in the summer are going to be great.
Make
Well,
Wednesdays
rather,
great again.
Make Star Trek great again.
Oh God, how did we get here?
No, you're the one who brought it up. I'm gonna hit the bring red button.
Sorry.
Where the heck are you shopping? First of all, I'm not shopping for toys.
What did he say? Who said that?
Jamal on Facebook.
Oh, yeah,
I am
yeah.
not-
How is this?
I'm not. Stop! Don't do it, Anthony. I don't want to. I don't.
Unicron. Unicron.
It's just like a bad. It's
That'll
like a.
never get old.
It's like a bad American Pie sketch.
That'll never get old.
All right. First off, if I'm just curious as to how you think this is arousing. Is my question.
I don't. On the contrary, can we stop talking about? I don't want to talk about. That's it. We're done.
He's
We're done.
a little horny.
We're done.
but I
We're
mean,
done. We're
not
done.
like
We're done.
that.
We're done. We're done. Bidet. Seriously.
Reno is
That's
awesome.
it. I'm being serious now. We gotta move on. Okay, I'm gonna hit the big red button for feedback. There is a line, and I am drawing it now. I'm gonna hit the big red button.
This far and no farther.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, I
Sorry.
broke my little ship.
Quark also says that in Deep Space Nine.
I'm gonna hit the big red button in 3, 2, 1. This is Elijah. Feedback sync 1.
This is Anthony. Feedback sync 2.
This is Jake. Feedback. Sync 3.
Feedback in 3, 2. Well, captains, hailing. I don't know why I was so. Well, captains, hailing frequencies are now open, and we're ready to receive all of your incoming messages.
Episode 409's community.
I'm sorry. Lawrence made a Transformers reference in the chat, and I just lost it.
Oh.
Sorry. Because the song.
Episode-
You ever heard of the song "The Touch"? You got the touch. Do, do, do.
Oh, yeah.
You got the power. It's also in. So it's in 2 movies. It's in Transformers 1986 animated movie, and it's in Boogie Nights.
Yep. Episode 409's community question was, well, we didn't have one. Sorry. But as always, our listeners kept the hailing frequencies open.
You deliver your apologies with such sincerity, Jake. Sometimes I just want to drive up to Boston and hug you. Just be like, it's okay, buddy.
You're welcome
okay.
anytime. Come on up.
Just because he sounds like he's from Boston doesn't mean he lives in Boston.
Well, didn't you used to live in Boston?
No, always Rhode Island or New Hampshire.
Never mind.
But right
You don't
around
even-
Boston. So.
I don't even know him.
I mean, I have only met him once.
Do you even Jake, bro?
You even Jakeys, bro?
Do you Jakey's?
All right, go on.
All right. From PriorityOnePodcast.com, Tyler Maxwell says, I'd imagine that Stowe getting more featured TFOs versus featured story missions lately is more of a bang for the buck sort of consideration. It seems to take much more resources and dev time to make a new featured episode. Multiple new maps, new characters, and accompanying. Well, that's a big word. New characters and accompanying voiceovers, rewards, sometimes mechanics, etc. than it does to make a TFO, usually a single map, pretty much just pew-pew and some minor gamey gimmicks. Pretty much just pew-pew and some minor gamey gimmick. Clearly, from a return on investment standpoint, making a feature TFO gets and keeps more cheeks in the seats longer than a story mission. So the game developer boss's priorities will align accordingly. Do I like that it's the way that it is? Do I like that it's the way that it is? Oh, wow.
You need to lay back on that peach schnapps, buddy.
It's like I'm having a minor seizure at the end of that sentence. Do I like that that's the way that it is? Of course not.
You can take it from of course not.
Yeah, I know. Thank you. Of course not.
That's why I'm here. That's why I wear. That's why I'm the boss.
Yeah. That's why he's got the Batman.
The boss. The boss. Of course not. The story missions interest me personally a lot more than yet another TFO grind. But unless there's a way to get players to engage with the story missions, drive up the metrics just as much, if not more than they do with TFOs, I don't see that paradigm changing.
I mean, of course, it's a matter of getting cheeks and seats, and it's a video game. You want to be able to log in, blow something up, log out. I think that this... Well, we'll save it for next week when we invite... When Kat is our regular guest host on Star Trek Online News.
Yeah, and we were actually talking about something similar in our Patreon. Oh, no, we weren't. That was a different chat. Never mind. Yeah, we were talking about something like this recently, too. And I kind of agree with the TFO grind versus the featured missions. I think the answer is variety. Is if you have too much of one thing for too long, like we've had 3 months of TFOs, it kind of gets a little boring, and we want something different. So I think variety is the spice of life.
Never mind, I'm not gonna say that out loud.
What were you gonna say?
I'll write it in the chat. I'll write it in the chat.
Write it in the chat, please. I want to know, because I love it when you insult me.
Go ahead, Jake.
I have nothing to add.
No, you have Kenna. You're the next one.
Oh, I'm sorry. From Twitter, Rebecca Skipper at Skipper8210 says, well, I have mixed feelings about the finale of Season 2 Disco. Loved the characters' moments, but hated the scene with Control's destruction and feel that it's unrealistic to expect Discovery's existence to remain a secret.
Why? You could have said that out loud. That's funny.
No,
You could have said that.
That's
I'm
funny.
I'm not.
It's
No, it's insightful, and I'm not going to. It's nice.
We don't do that on this show.
We don't do it. We don't do it publicly on this show.
Oh my god.
From Twitter, Ken from Chicago writes in, ask #TrekFans if they can be critical of Spock's Brain, Code of Honor, Threshold, or every other Star Trek film. Groupies uncritically approve all of what they claim to love. Fans praise the good and critique the bad. So what they love can repeat the good and fix the flaws. I completely agree with you, Ken. And I don't think that one needs to be a creator to critique. I don't think that one needs to be a game developer to... I don't think that one needs to be involved in the form of art or a creator in the form of art in order to give criticism. I think that as a creator, it is important to keep an open mind and an ear to people who you're trying to target or invite into the genre you're creating for.
And from PriorityOnePodcast.com, Sean Newboy writes, "Wonderful show, everyone. Am I the only one that would have preferred a slightly simpler design for the bridge of the Enterprise consoles and the screens as a compromise?" Yeah,
Sure.
I kind of agree with that. I would just a little simpler, but if it was what we had or nothing, I would definitely take what we had. What we had was beautiful.
If I had to say this versus JJ, I would have this hands down.
I wouldn't say hands down though. JJ's wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad, but this was better.
I unfortunately have to agree with Elijah.
Woohoo!
Ow.
Don't come. You're not welcome back in Rhode Island.
Yeah, I have to agree a little bit with Sean here. I think it was a little bit too busy, but at the same time, it felt like that bridge. It really did, and I think that's the important thing.
One thing that we failed to talk about in terms of touchstoning and homages is that consoles are still explosive in Star Trek.
Yeah, right. Yep.
Everything on the bridge has some degree of explosive compounds.
There's C4 under every single console.
C4 under every single console, and a strip of magnesium.
4th of July sparklers.
Yes. So that's nice. At least they kept that in the spirit of Star Trek.
The original design.
All right, everybody hit stop.
Wow, what is it? 6. Feedback.
It's a feed. It's a me, a feedback.
It's a me, a feedback. Just to be clear, because I feel like you're stuck on this.
Who, me?
Yeah. Just to be clear, I do
careful.
not believe.
I think you're a little careful. I think the schnapps is going to your head.
I do not believe
you
you need to be a creative professional to critique something. I just want to be clear that's not what I'm saying or what I've ever said.
All right.
Just to be clear.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm jumping on you here.
Yeah, that's fine. So wherever Kenna is, you'll be.
Yeah.
You'll be
Yeah.
good.
Gotcha.
We just changed it last week. I don't even know why we changed it.
So no community question.
No, it's fine. It's okay. We're still gonna trust me. We're still gonna get feedback, or I might write another. Well, first of all, my article was not insightful. I thought.
No, it was fantastic.
I worked really hard on. I didn't work really hard. I was just. I should just stop talking. I wrote the article. I wrote the blog.
But you're not gonna.
But I wrote it with a lot of.
I don't want to argue, but we're gonna argue.
All right, let's do closing. We're at the big one. And look, after closing, if you guys want to, I don't have anything to. I mean.
Yeah, me neither. I'm good for tomorrow too.
So. All right, I'm gonna hit the big red button in 3, 2, 1.
Oh, you son of a...
All right, clear your deck. Clear your deck.
Great. Cut out.
Clear your deck.
Are we going? Are we still going?
No, clear your
I
deck.
hit record. I hit record.
Me too.
Well,
I hit
clear your
record.
deck. So did I. But...
I mean, sorry.
All right. Man, you get a little schnapps
Did you
in
do
you.
that on purpose?
Little peach
Did you do that on
a little
purpose?
peach snaps in you, and you're a sailor all of a sudden.
Yeah. Did you do that on purpose? That's all I want to know.
What? No, I did not actually. I really did not.
Okay. Good Lord.
Okay, I'm good.
Are you? I think we're ready.
I know. I'm reading. People are
What do you
replying. Nothing. I need to.
What?
I need to. Nothing. I'm gonna hit the big red button in 3, 2, 1.
Oh, hang on.
Oh,
God.
Jesus.
I was looking for what you were reading, if I could see it.
No, it's on my note. People are replying. I have new comments on my...
Oh, on your fantastic blog?
Shut up. I'm gonna hit the big red button in 3, 2, 1. This is Elijah closing sync 1.
This is Anthony closing sync 2.
This is Jake closing sync 3.
Closing in 3, 2.
Well, that wraps up episode 410 of Priority 1, a Roddenberry. I'm gonna redo that.
Yeah.
Sorry. Well, that wraps up episode 410 of Priority 1, a Roddenberry Star Trek podcast. For more great podcasts like Mission Log and Mission Log Live, Women at Warp, and The Trek Files, visit podcasts.roddenberry.com.
Oh, good Lord, it's B. Captains, you know we love hearing from you, so leave us a comment on our website at PriorityOnePodcast.com or on our Facebook page at Facebook.com/PriorityOnePodcast, or find us on Twitter or Instagram at PriorityOnePod.
Don't miss a thing from the Star Trek Don't miss a thing from the Star Trek multiverse. Catch our episodes every Friday by pointing your favorite podcast app to feeds.PriorityOnePodcast.com. You can even join in on the fun as I read this every week out loud while you guys are recording in my car. You can even join in on the fun while we record our episodes live on Tuesday nights at around 11:30 p.m. Eastern on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter. You can even join in on the fun while we record our episodes live on Tuesday nights at around 11:30 p.m. Eastern on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter. Keep an eye on our social media channels for details.
And if that wasn't enough, be sure to spend time with the Priority 1 Armada. Saturday nights, the Armada broadcasts live to review the latest Star Trek Online and Armada news, as well as spotlight some of the amazing members in our community. Each week, we team up with you to earn things like reputation marks and dilithium. With regular giveaways, there is something for all. Star Trek Online players, new and old. Follow us on our social media account. Jesus. Follow us on our social media accounts for broadcast times. And if you'd like to join the Armada, visit PriorityOneArmada.com. This episode of Priority One Podcast is brought to you by our patrons through Patreon.com. Find out more and add your support at Patreon.com/PriorityOne. Even if you can't make a financial contribution, please help spread the word about the show and invite your fellow Trekkies. It's your support that keeps us going.
Don't forget to tune in to Priority One Productions' Guard Frequency podcast at guardfrequency.com. Each episode, the Guard will take you inside the universe of your favorite space sim, including a tabletop adventure played out by your hosts. And Heroes Rise brings you up to date with the world of Dungeons and Dragons. Learn all about the latest publications, tools, tips, tricks, and traps in less time than it takes to skin a wyvern. Head over to heroesrisepodcast.com to discover their secrets.
Thanks to our audio editors, including Brandon Parker, James Golding, Rand Hurl, Daniel Stevens, Skiffy, and Winters. Thanks to our producer and Jake Morgan for assisting in the writing of our show and social media endeavors. And Jake, as always, it's great to have you on the show.
It's great to be here. Sorry.
Thanks to our graphic artist and web designer, Henry Pomper, with support from Jason Smith of the Priority One Armada. Thanks to the composer of our theme. Thanks to the composer of our theme music, Chris Watts. Thanks to our syndication partners, Subspace Radio and Trek Radio. But most importantly, a big thanks to you, the Star Trek community, our listeners, because without your ongoing support, none of this would be possible. Everybody hit stop.
Stop.
In the name of love.
Oh, that never gets old.
Whoa, what the
Think it
hell
out,
happened? I don't know what key I just went into. Please forgive me. I have insulted myself. I am critiquing myself. Wait, but can I even? I'm sorry, that was
because you're a creative professional.
Just shut up. You're such an ass.
That is correct.
Actually, well, you've gone from being a dick to being an ass. Well,
so I've completely circumvented. Never mind.
Yeah, let's not go there. Let's not explore that joke further, please. Okay, so I know that Jamal, Lawrence. I didn't see Ed in the chat today. Sad Panda. Are you guys thinking about driving down to Philly for the Roddenberry's second album premiere? Anthony and I will be there, and it'll be a hoot.
Hootenanny.
We'll have a real good time, assuming Elijah and I are still friends by then.
We should do it in the interest of content. We should do like a season 2 post-mortem.
I mean, how did you feel that our previous conversation went earlier tonight?
It's fine internally. It's inviting.
Well, yeah, yeah. I know what you mean. And I am scared.
Yeah, I
am scared.
Let me put the Roddenberry.
I don't think it should be a battle royale.
It's not. It's not. And it's like, I don't know. Again, did I say this? Well, I said this on Patreon, and it's okay. I'll say it.
Jamal says I have to bring Unicron.
No, God, please don't.
Thanks, Jamal.
Did I go get Cybertron?
I am throwing in the chat a link to the Roddenberry's event. The special guest is J.G. Hertzler. It's happening in Philly on June 27th, Thursday. Like I said, Anthony and I will be there for sure. I'm tired. I don't want to talk about this guy. I don't want to review. And I'm going to open up a little bit here. This has been such a exhausting experience that it's like I need a break, man. It's like man. Where'd everybody go?
Hi.
I went to get Cybertron.
Oh, wow. So you're entitled to your opinion, and sometimes I vehemently disagree. Sometimes I yell at my car radio. It's never okay for someone to tell you you are not entitled to your opinion. And that pisses me off more, I think. Excuse my language, but that pisses me off more than your silly nonsense.
Oh, thanks.
But no, it really drives me crazy sometimes that people think that they can tell you that it's not okay to feel how you feel.
Yeah, and I agree, and I apologize if I've ever.
No, I don't. I don't think anybody on the show ever has. I don't think. I mean, nothing that
I'm pretty sure I've come close, if not.
I
think you're outnumbered, Anthony, and sometimes you're just battling for your life.
Well, it's not just that, but I think Anthony. I know what Anthony's talking about because you will get me angry. And I know you know when you get me angry.
Oh, I know when I know exactly when I've hit a trigger button, and I know because I can see it. I can see you change, and I know. Okay, I need to sort of like back off and be more, because what happens is that you then find ways to interject it later on.
Yes,
like,
yes.
whatever.
Yes.
Like you.
Yeah.
So I know I'm like, oh yeah, he hasn't let that go.
because what you say is such a it's okay here's we have to give it a little bit of like our patrons know about this.
Yeah.
Because they've heard it, right? So what happens is that Anthony will say something like, well, I understood the message.
Okay.
Or
first up, wait. I don't say it like that.
You know, you do. You should listen back.
I say I understood what they were going for, and I understood that they wanted to.
The last time you really like pissed me off. And you know what's funny is that I'm really surprised that like Kenna hasn't pulled me aside and said, you know, I really wish that we wouldn't. But it also works because it's not like it works for the show, right? It works for the dynamic,
mm-hmm.
and we walk away I walk away going, man, I really hate him. But it's good it's good. It's a discussion.
Wait. I'm sorry. You walk away saying you hate me. I expected the next sentence to be, oh, not really, but it wasn't.
Oh,
it was.
Oh,
but
was
it's
that
radio?
Yeah, it's good.
Oh, gee.
It's good that I hate him.
Oh, gee. Oh, that's weird.
Thanks for having me.
I meant to say.
I didn't say that. Oh,
I did.
Okay.
You see, I anticipated you understood it because you have such a connection with things like writing staffs, and I just thought you were in my brain, the Katra.
No, I have connections with talented creators.
Oh. Right. You see, it's because that one you're going for, but like, it was like two. It was I think it was the last time it was 2 weeks ago. The last time we.
No, I know.
Stream.
It's yeah.
And you said something that. Holy shit! It pissed me off so bad.
No, I can tell. It's funny because I never intended to be taken the way that you take it. But as soon as I say it, it's like at the same time you get upset, I realize, oh shit, he might take it like this.
I think I did that. I think I did that twice tonight.
And I'm
oh no.
This and then I literally start planning my exit strategy. Because I'm like, okay, he's gonna latch onto this with his talons and not let it go. So how do I navigate around it and then make him feel like, you know, like I didn't do that, or I didn't mean it, or like I know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
But that's what happens. That's what happens in our patrons is that you will legit hear it in my voice that
I can. It's like
because I'm
switch.
not like it's a switch, but it's not like I don't curse him out. I don't do. It's just I get really hyper focused, and I get real like, I'm gonna choose my words real carefully now.
It's
generally, if you repeat it, you know that it's not a good thing.
It's funny because I never want to make you feel like your opinion isn't valid, or that because I feel like I say a lot of things like, you know, like, oh, well, I've worked in blah, 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 blah. And so I understand like where they're coming from. And then I immediately realize, oh shit, like that like Eliza's going to take that.
Well, it's not, that one is less. I forget. I almost want to listen back to the.
I don't remember exactly, but I remember there was a moment where I said something, and then I just it was almost as if the shade of your camera changed to from blue to red, and I was like, oh no.
But it happens. It's not the only time. Like, it happens every couple, especially with Discovery.
Yeah.
When we talk about Discovery.
Oh,
it happens often. But it's not like it is a different. That's never happened on the show. We've never. I mean, the 7 years. I mean, well.
You mean where
I
you've
take
changed?
it back. I take it back. James would really say shit that would piss me off.
Yeah.
But I was still so new and so wet behind the ears that I'd just be like, okay, you know, and like not say anything. But you don't scare me, and I
think, you know that
so I'm not
like.
So what I'm saying, so I'm not comparing.
It's really gonna upset me.
So I'm not. It's not that I'm comparing you to James because you're not James. You're not James Lee. I'm gonna leave it at that because he may be listening to the show, and I haven't spoken to him in quite a long time. Not because we don't talk. We just are. We're guys. We're friends. He and I. It was that nature of the show at the time. But you're different insofar that the conversation can continue.
Yeah.
Right? And so the conversation moves forward, and either we pivot to a different discussion or something changes. But it is that tension, and which is why I haven't said anything, because I'll get really, you'll say something that really pisses me off, but I'm not, first of all, I would never, even in real life, would never just engage in a way that was, like, what the fuck are you talking about? Or that's not who I am. Number one. Number two is that it's like it drives the conversation forward. And again, I get hyper focused, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to choose my words real wisely now. And, so it's like, it's a double-edged sword. It brings my blood pressure higher, but it also makes for a better conversation.
Yeah. Well, I think it's because we, like, I feel like we have the experience and the, what's the word? Like like we understand that, like, it's a moment in the conversation. It does not define our friendship or our relationship. It's,
I'll be right back.
And plus we're both just very, like, we're very opinionated. We're very, we believe in our opinions very much. And I also I think we recognize too, I mean, especially for me, I recognize when that moment happens, and that like pressing it isn't necessarily the best idea,
Oh no, if you were to press it, then we'd have a problem.
Right. And it's recognizing that, okay, I've moved into this space a little too much. I need to give a little bit, and I need to allow, not only that, but I mean, you're the, how do I phrase this delicately?
Cuban overlord? The boss?
Well, you're the captain of the ship. You're the leader. I mean, you're the one that really, like, pulls us all along. And that there needs to be an amount of respect in order for that to work.
No, screw him.
So,
Jake, you better apologize to me right now, sir.
I'm so sorry.
Jake, look, our conversation that we had at the bar is different than this.
Yeah. All right. He's here.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Okay.
Totally kidding.
No, that's not true. I know you guys talked about the show.
No, actually, anytime you came up, it was glowing, and that is not a joke.
I have a hard time. Do
you
funny?
Really? You really have
funny?
a hard time believing it?
Hold on a second. You know what's funny is, and first, I'm being facetious. I don't believe in this kind of shit. But the other day, I think it was the day that you guys were hanging out. Like, for whatever reason, I was like, I completely lost hearing in like one ear from. I was like, I got scared. Well, now I know what it was about. The two
you definitely came up, but honest to God, it was all glowing.
Yeah, I mean, most of the stuff. I mean, like, I think.
I'm kidding. I'm not asking. I'm not fishing for.
I'll tell you.
I don't.
And then he'll tell you, and then I'll tell you the truth.
Oh, you know what, Jake?
Yes.
Did you get to play pool with Carl Urban?
No, I didn't.
Then shut up.
I don't know why you're being mean to me.
Can I tell you?
Horrible thing to say.
Twice this week.
Terrible things.
Twice this week that came up at work that I played pool with Carl Urban.
Oh, really?
Because everybody was talking about the trailer for The Boys that just came out for the show on Amazon that he was. And remember, we were talking to him about that, and he was filming that in Canada while when he was coming down. I don't know if you were kind of clammy in the corner, so you may not have heard that. But
dude, I was. I'm not gonna lie.
You were like, it's so funny because like I get like super nervous when I have to interview somebody. Like when we talked to Gates McFadden that weekend, I was like, oh. And you were like, whatever, I do this all the time, you know. And then when it got to when we were in the bar with Carl Urban, you were like, I don't want to go talk to him. I don't want to go play pool near him. And I was like, what are you talking about? Let's just go.
Well, here's the other thing too. Mind you, it was the first time that you and I were in the same room together, right? Like it was the first time, right? And so, you know, we are professionals in our own right. But at the same time, I don't. You and I. It's not like you and I have known each other for years, and I'm like, who knows? After 3 drinks, you could be on the bar taking off your shirt and wagging it around. So,
funny story. So when Jake and I, I'm sorry. Continue.
So there was a part of me going, oh my God, I hope I made the right choice, and I hope that he doesn't. I hope that we can still do a podcast after this. I really hope that we can still do a podcast about this. In addition to when it's like I am, it's not even that I'm starstruck. It's more like, oh my God, I don't want to sound like a fool. So I'm just going to shut up. And I'm not going to talk, and I'm just going to, like that's pretty much it. Whereas in an interview, Kenna can, Ira Stephen Bear can walk by and I'm in a different mode. It's weird. It's like, I guess it's gone to the point where interviewing is is performance art for me. It's become a performance art. It's not journalism for me because I wasn't trained as a journalist, but it's become I treat it as a performance. I prep for it as a performance so that way, God forbid something happens, I'm prepared. Right. But when Carl Urban wants to play pool, I'm going to be like, no, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I feel like I'm the exact opposite of that.
I mean, the one and only time I've ever been starstruck was with Kate Mulgrew. And I think, Jake, I told you that story the other day. Yeah. And for anybody who's still with us, I don't know why you are, but I'll tell you anyway. I just moved to New York City. I had literally been living there for about a week or two. And a friend of mine had invited me out to see this off-Broadway play with her. And so I didn't know the area very well, so I decided to head up to the theater really early. And it was on 42nd Street, way out by the Hudson River. So it was a little bit of a walk from the nearest subway station. It was on I think it was on 11th or 12th Avenue, which is about 3 or 4 blocks from the
what
from
theater?
The subway.
I don't remember. There's no theater on 42nd Street. I mean, there's the.
It's way out there. It's like almost
the
to the
Hudson
river.
Or.
Yeah, it's on the west side. Yeah. It's an off-Broadway theater.
Oh, I think the one you're talking about. Oh, Jesus! I did a show there once. What the hell's Lawrence? You watching? What's the
it's
name of
next to a Starbucks. There's literally a Starbucks. It's like the only things for 3 blocks is that theater and the Starbucks. Like that's it.
What the hell's the name of that theater?
So I get there like an hour and a half early, or maybe 2 hours early, and I'm like, okay, cool. I found the place. There's a Starbucks. I'll go get a coffee and I'll relax. So I go up and I order my drink. And I'm putting my money back in my wallet, and then I hear behind me this gruff female voice order a coffee, and I instantly recognize it as Captain Janeway.
Theater Row. That's
Yeah, that sounds right. And I instantly recognize it as Captain Janeway, and then all of a sudden, all the blood rushed out of my head and rushed out of my knowledge of Star Trek, and I just looked at her. I'm literally 8 inches from her, and I say, "Oh my God, are you her?" And she says in her voice, well, that depends on who her is. And I couldn't remember her name. I couldn't remember that her character name or her real name. I just completely blanked. And then I said, I just want you to know I'm a huge Star Trek fan. And she's like, okay, thanks. And then she just walked away to go get her coffee. My coffee came up first. I grabbed my coffee. I said, well, it was nice meeting you or whatever, have a nice day. And I left. Called up my friend, told him how amazing it was to, lose my shit in front of Kate Mulgrew. Then my friend showed up. We went in the theater and I'm telling her about this whole experience, We sit down, we go to watch the show, and 20 minutes into the play, Kate Mulgrew comes walking out on stage. She's in the show that we had gone to go see. It was, Lawrence, you might remember this. There was a whole series of Greek plays that this director rebooted, and he called them 2.0. And this was Iphigenia 2.0. So it was like a modern day retelling of Iphigenia.
Actually, speaking of Greek tragedies, I want to see the new Hadestown. What is it? Hadestown. Hadestown. Yeah. It's kind of it sounds like it's like creeping up to be a pretty heavy contender. Like, it's been getting interesting reviews. Yeah, so that's all I got. I mean, I could stay up late. You want to play Star Trek Online? We can play Star Trek Online. I can load it up. Load up the game.
Oh my god, Jake, are you gonna play Star Trek Online?
Oh, dude. But I don't know.
I mean, it's not.
I should go to bed.
Maybe I can do one TFO. You want to do like an infected?
No, we can do the new one.
All right,
new
cool.
one.
All right. You want to do the new one?
Yeah.
Are we gonna do it? Are we gonna stay on the air?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I gotta go use the little captain's room.
Yeah, me too.
All right. Well, I'll talk to myself.
I'll wait.
No, go ahead. Man. Seriously.
No. I insist.
that is your
Talk to me.
cast.
Tell me what you think of.
Dude, if you can come down, if you can make it, maybe. Excuse me. If you can, how likely would it be for you to be able to make it down here to Philly, June 27th?
June 27th. Let me pull up my calendar.
It's a Thursday. It's a Thursday night.
June 27th. I am off, which is kind of nice.
But what about the Friday though? Because it's a Thursday night thing.
Yeah, I'm off Friday too. I don't go back to work until Saturday.
Well, I mean, I think Anthony's gonna get a hotel room, so I will probably get a hotel room, but I will be going with my significant other. So
Pardon me.
So you guys are not welcome.
Oh, son of a gun.
But if maybe you guys can split a.
Yeah, that'll be pretty fun. That'll be a good time.
And like I said, JG Hertzler, or and what you could do is what? So you would have to drive almost towards him, right, to get down here. So maybe you guys could carpool.
It depends on if he moves and when he moves.
Right.
You talking about me?
Is there?
I'll still be here in June.
Oh, you'll still be in New York?
Yeah,
New York.
I won't be in. Assuming I move to Rhode Island, which is what the goal is, I won't be there until August. But I'm crashing with you, right, Elijah?
All right, I'll be right back.
Not in the slightest.
Yeah, I mean, you said it was. I mean, Allie said it was okay.
You certainly did not talk to Allie.
I mean, Look, I thought that's what we decided.
Screenshots or didn't happen. Cable B.
Hang on, let me just open Photoshop.
Ha. Okay, wait.
Are we going to Ticonderoga?
For Shatner?
No, I mean just like just a group of us going.
Huh?
Just a group of us going, like getting Jake down and
that'd be
trying
great.
to get Skiffy and stuff.
Cable B. Apply. Star Trek audio properties. Cable B. Okay. Maybe I need to restart still. Bye, Stowe. Okay. I really wish they would have added a Lieutenant Commander Universal on the Baran.
What are you using in that slot now on the Gagarin?
I don't remember off the top of my head. Cause with the Baran, with that Lieutenant.
All right, I'm back. Sorry.
Well, Lawrence, why don't if we can do like a big group thing, I'm sure that what?
You didn't hear Jake open up his ear?
Oh yeah.
It's like that literally like shook my starships over here.
Quick. Yes.
Sweet water.
Is anybody getting Stowe audio on the stream? It's not. Nobody getting Stowe audio on the stream.
I am in Stowe now.
Alright, I gotta add.
Lawrence, let me know when you're going, because I'm only like 2 hours south of Ticonderoga, and I have a friend of mine that wants to go.
I've been trying to convince the family to go to Lake George so I can go to Ticonderoga and check out the set.
Do you guys camp? Do you guys go camping at all?
You know, we've never camped, but I want to. We have a little bit of woods in our backyard, so I'm hoping to get like a trial camping this summer.
We started camping last year, and we actually camped. Actually, when Elijah, when you and I were up at Ticonderoga, I was camping with the family, and we did that again in Lake George. And in Lake George actually has a campground in the middle of the town. It's kind of cool.
Oh, that is cool. If you feel like coming up to northern New Hampshire, let me know.
Sure.
Maybe. That sounds like a solid no.
I mean, it's probably a lot like Maine, in which case that's a pass.
No, it's.
I'm from Maine. I don't need to.
I know. It's all pretty much the same. Yeah.
All right, let's do this one TFO, and then I gotta go to bed.
Hold on, I gotta fix the live stream.
Did you break the live stream?
No, well, I've got to set it up so that people can watch.
See the stuff. I'm all decked out in Mirror Universe stuff because of the Priority 1 Armada Mirror Universe event.
Isn't that precious?
I'm in my Mirror Universe. What is it? My Mirror Universe Guardian Cruiser, which was only available through the Humble Bundle to support Chase Masterson's
Hero Coalition. Yeah. I got one myself.
Pop Culture Hero Coalition.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the only tier 6 Mirror Universe ship that I have.
I don't know. Did that come with a? I don't think you got a. Did you get a Admiralty card with that?
I did get an Admiralty
card.
Yeah, of course I did. Do you want me to see what it is?
Yeah, I'm gonna see it because I don't remember.
Let's see, Admiralty.
What's it called?
The Mirror Guardian Cruiser.
All right, Lawrence, take care.
Good night, Lawrence.
Hey, Lawrence.
All right, X up in Armada.
Hang on, I'm looking for the stuff. Where is it? I was positive I have that. Oh, do I not have one?
Right?
Yeah, I'm not. I don't know.
Oh no,
why
I have it. I have it.
this
Merit
still
Guardian
audio
Cruiser
is-
64 engineering, 23 tac, 21 science.
What
2.5 times critical rating from
what
science.
color is it?
It's
Like
it's a blue quality engineering.
blue engineering.
Yeah, I don't know why still audio is not pulling the way.
It's the client is really finicky about audio outputs.
I'm gonna
I have a hard time, like if I put my headphones on while the game is running, I have to restart the game. It's weird. It's weird. It's totally weird. Are you on Earth Space Dock?
I am.
Let me go to Earth Space Dock. I X'd up. Do you wanna add me to a team?
Yeah, give me. Sorry. All right. Jakey's,
Yes, sir.
you gonna X up?
I don't know how to do that. What do you mean X up?
You put.
What? Do you
type
even
X.
stow, bro? Get out of
come
here!
on, bro.
Get out of here! Get out
Come
of
on.
here!
That's a terrible
Good night,
Rhode
Peter.
Island accent.
Good night, Peter.
A good night, Peter. Send me a PM with an X, or put an X in the. Are you not in the Armada still?
Bro,
He's not the Armada, but he's got the. You have the Armada chat, don't you?
I have the priority 1 chat, but not on
The case
chat.
of.
You are still not in the
Oh.
Priority 1 Armada?
Listen, you know,
We've gone over this. We go over this every time we play together.
I know I'm a moral man, and I promised these people that I would play with them. It's a hard thing for me to get over. I don't know. I don't love it.
Well, that's live now, so if they hear this, they're gonna know that you don't love them.
No, I don't love the decision I have to make. I don't love it.
All right. Anybody else? Let's see. We are live. We are live. We are live on social media.
Oh, that is a cool eye patch. That is awesome.
I'm gonna be rubbing eye patches with.
Yeah,
General
JG
Martz on.
Herzler. Yeah,
That sounds so wrong.
Oh my god.
but also so right.
Oh my god.
my
Jake,
God.
do we need
How
to
much
order...
do you want to bet I can work that phrase into a sentence with him?
I don't really want to bet that.
Please
Not
don't
a
stress Elijah out. Please
Not
don't
a
do
little. Not a little. I don't want to bet that even a little.
How about a drink? How about a drink?
No,
it.
I don't
Don't
want,
stress the man
I
out,
don't,
please.
I don't
I'm
want.
No, but I'll
Thank
do it. I'll do it in a way that he thinks is funny.
Oh, you know, man, I just heard that the event got canceled, bro. Oh, so sad. Oh, shucks. Oh, man. You know what? I'd hate for you to drive all the way down here for nothing, man. Ah, I just,
It's okay. You know what? I already booked the hotel room. I'll just come down anyway and have a cheesesteak.
Great. Just shoot out and invite, and I'll battle. Kajelis.
Jackies. Jackies.
Invite to Well, info. I feel like I should know who this person is.
Cajelis.
Are they watching?
I don't know. Oh, I think it's Darth. But
Darth?
yeah.
Oh, in the Twitch chat?
Yeah.
And see my 6 sword moves.
No.
No. Sorry. Oh, golly.
Oh, God. Oh, I'm so tired.
Where you at, bruh?
God, the shoulders on your character, Elijah. I mean, how do you even get through the doorways on your ships? That is a manly chest you have there.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It means something to me that you noticed that.
I mean,
I think that
I mean, being a chest expert, I can critique that.
I think that Kajay's is Heidi. Kazumi. No. We are full right now. So, guys, it looks like we're gonna have to do 2 in a row. Aw, shucks.
Oh, yeah.
Aw, shucks. You guys are stuck.
Oh, Jason wanted to join.
Yeah, I just got a message. But
I gotta make my guy shorter.
Wait, we're not full?
1, 2, 3, 4,
Yeah.
5.
5, yeah.
Oh, I'm the 5th one. Right.
Yo, do you even stow, bro? Seriously? Oh, I only see a list of 4. It's only been the same UI for the last 9 years.
I said I was tired, and I've had a lot of Icelandic schnapps.
Are people watching?
People are watching.
Wow.
If they are.
How do I join the team? Just click join?
You're part. You started the team, didn't you?
Yeah, you're the team.
You are the team.
Featured
You're the
TFO.
Team leader.
Wait, hold on. What's the name of the featured TFO?
Operation Riposte. It's
Yep.
the top. It's at the top.
What Anthony said.
At the top, second one in, picture of the brand. Not the
Yeah, but
butts
here's the thing. I know that I could click join on the top button, but because I'm in a team and I know that Star Trek Online can be buggy sometimes, I'm going to go to the actual listing, change it to, oh, it's only a freaking normal? It's a normal TFO only?
Yeah. The featured TFOs are only what happens is that a couple of months later they add it to the normal queue and then add the advanced difficulties.
Alright.
Do you even stow, bro?
Guess not. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and did everybody get the pop.
I got the pop.
Yes.
I'm popping.
Pop. Hi, Dave.
Pop.
Come on, guys. It's only 2.
2:10, and my kids are gonna wake me up at 6:30.
Yes.
Have them play with your star transponders. What was it? That was the word that we used. Transformers. Transformers. You can have them play with your transformers. Damn.
Exactly. You haven't been hearing that all night. Seriously? You haven't been hearing that all night.
First of all, how many have you had? Like, I swear to God, it was like 5 minutes ago we were making this
they're
joke.
Miller Lights, so he might as well be drinking,
water.
seltzer
Didn't
water.
you say they're water?
Seltzer water, right? That's true.
I mean, it's beer essence seltzer water.
Yeah, beer flavored water.
It's basically
It's like La Croix for beer.
Yeah, I mean, what they do is they
Listen, I'm not rich like you guys.
They spill a Budweiser on the floor and then they just leave the cans open for a few minutes.
Yep.
That's how they brew the Miller Lite.
You guys, you
guys.
You guys, eh?
So to answer your question, stations, what do I have in the Universal? I have a tactical officer, actually. So I have I have 3 tactical officers, 1 engineer.
Oh my God. What are you using?
I'm sorry, 2. I'm sorry, 2. I'm sorry, I messed up. I have 2 tactical officers, and I have 1. What is this? The miracle worker.
So what's your layout? What buffs are you using?
The ones that explode things.
Good buffs. Good buffs.
Sorry, I can't.
No, I mean, like, what class of buffs? Like, what's your full layout? How many of each?
Oh my! Wait, what? What are you asking?
So, like,
me?
you have just name me each station. Give me each station.
Oh, hold on. What's firing at me? That's upsetting.
The bad guys.
Was it? Is it the Warriors of Kelpion? Kelp?
Kaminar.
Kaminar.
Be kind. Be kind.
Look, even I thought that line, like, I didn't mind the sentiment, but the line I thought was a
Warriors
little,
of Kaminar, unite!
Oh, they're warriors now. Like, I could have believed, they've
learned
learned
your powers combined.
They've learned to fly the fighters. Okay, they're adequate pilots, but warriors.
That's like someone claiming to be a critic without having the requisite.
Okay.
Without reading,
all right.
Without reading any books.
Oh, that hurt.
Let's be gentlemen.
I'm trying. Look, man. Look, guys. It's been, since I posted that. I'm allowed to just be a little.
You can be snarky. Yeah,
a little bit.
I mean, you get a little snark for you.
A little bit. I get to be a little bit, like I'm gonna say kind of what I want right now, and it's which also I would never say something that was like egregious, but I get to be a little snarky.
Yeah, you get a little snark.
Just a little snark. Just a wee bit of snark.
Oh, I flew right by them.
Where are we going?
I went right past the group of Klingons.
Not for nothing. So this TFO, right? What I felt was this is way too easy, and it could very well be that it's because it's such a normal.
Yeah. The enemies are definitely too easy.
Right, and so I didn't feel challenged, right? So if the TFO was challenging, then maybe I would sing a different tune regarding the TFO, right? But I just don't feel challenged. I don't this is just point and shoot. And who was saying this? It might have been in our think tank group about why aren't we pushing for some degree of? I mean, this goes back to the Holy Trinity kind of thinking, but why isn't a science officer the one disabling the anti-proton missile kind of thing? The anti-ship missile.
Oh my God! I flew right by them. Damn it! Oh no! Somebody blew up that missile! Somebody blew up the missiles!
I will say
we missed them.
Yeah, who's on the missile?
Well, there's two of us, and we missed these two.
You son of a gun.
Yeah, I flew right by him, and then Bosch, I'm assuming Bosch thought I was going to get them, and I thought I was too, and I flew right by him.
I mean, I just stopped a bunch of them.
A bunch, you
sure?
mean one?
Oh, I didn't. Yeah, but I don't see transport Alpha Hub.
They come down. They come from the planet below.
No, I know that. But I didn't see any get past me. All right, so the two of you are doing this, so I'm gonna go fight other things.
Yeah. I mean, we're way down here, although we're not great at it.
I'm gonna try to take care of the Klingon ships.
Well, that's what I'm. Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Oh, I see you.
I think that who me?
Yeah, you.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with that this just doesn't feel challenging, and I don't know, after 9 years, maybe it might be worth kind of revisiting the whole concept of the Holy Trinity and saying, okay, now let's make a few missions where you need a science officer.
I think most people who have been playing Star Trek Online for a long time feel that the fundamental problem is that there's no division. It's everybody's a Fed TAC, and if you're not, then you're flying,
division, or there's no purpose for being anything other than
there's no purpose for being anything other than.
All right.
So really, if you want to min max, you want to be a Romulan TAC, and then your alliance is kind of dependent on. Sorry, I'm fighting. It's kind of dependent on, do you want to get consoles cheap, or do you want to have access to other things? So really, right now, if you want to min max, you want to be a Romulan TAC Clink aligned.
How dare you say Clink?
I know. Sorry.
Get a few water beers in you, and you're just all like those Clinks and Roms. But you see, when you say you're saying min maxers, and the truth is that, I mean, again, who is the target? After 9 years of playing Star Trek Online, you know what? When the emulator group relaunched City of Heroes, I was really excited.
Cool.
And I installed it, and I built a character that I called Red Angel. And
did you?
Oh yeah, and I made it look like the suit.
Very cool.
I did it ironically.
Yeah. Oh, no, I like that. I like it.
That sounds like you liked it.
I did it ironically. I was like, you know what?
I like it though.
So, but City of Heroes was heavily dependent on the Holy Trinity. I mean, you could not go into a group zone without, okay, we need a scrapper, we need a what was it, blaster, we LFT, looking for a team for something, right? And I don't know, I feel like I don't think it's a nostalgia thing. I don't think the concept of the Holy Trinity is a nostalgia thing with an MMO. I think it's a fundamental part of an MMO that keeps players engaged and keeps variety. It's, hey, we're all, I need a science officer. I really hope that, let's make science ships appealing for science officers as healers. And
but with that said, I understand that after 10 years, Discovery, Star Trek Online has set up a player base. We all know what to expect, and having to worry about making sure you have a healer and a tank is not what we expect. So, to ask us to do that, to ask a player to do that, is not. It's expecting a lot from a player base that has been playing for a long time.
Well, I mean, so to that I'll counter. All right, so they just experimented with this new expansion where it's about, you know, it's an expansion over time, right? So if they can experiment with that, then why not experiment with one of these TFOs being class dependent?
Right.
You know, like, okay,
I'll be honest with you. My favorite thing that has ever been in the game, and the thing that I miss the most, are the STFs. Like, where you had to have knowledge, you had to go in with a team. Each person had a role. You had to coordinate your activities in the mission. Like, I really miss having that kind of thing in the game.
But is that Star Trek Online now?
But
No.
why did it change?
No, it's not.
But what do you mean now? Why did it change?
No, but what I'm saying is that that's not even an option. Like, they literally took those missions apart and created, you know, what's now STFs. And I'm confused as to why they did that and why they couldn't leave some of them in there or make new ones that could be for those players who enjoyed that aspect of the game.
I don't know. After 9 years, it's ironic that I'm asking who Stowe's audience is now. Like, it just, like, is it getting, you know, who are the new players that they're trying to get into the game, and or the
I
old
think
players?
it's, you know,
or the old players. Ooh, I'm rubber banding.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, me too. Oh, I got one. I caught one. Nope, they destroyed it. Never mind.
But I don't know. I'm not.
I think it's casual Star Trek fans who want to expand their experience in.
But interestingly enough, though, you know, to that point, there are Beverly Crusher fans, there are Doctor fans, there are Kim fans, and so if somebody comes into this going, "Oh, I want to be Dr. Crusher," then that means you want to be a healer, right? Like, they want to be able to log in and have a purpose to healing. But these, like this TFO, it is. I am going to where it's red and I am shooting.
Right. I
don't have to depend on anybody else.
Right.
Which makes even the concept of min-maxing moot.
Well, I think the feature TFO is a poor example of typical gameplay. Right. Because this is like the special thing that comes out every month that they want everybody to play, and so they make it lowest common denominator of difficulty. Then in a couple months, this will be released back into the queue, the variety, and then it'll have a level increases. So
are we done yet?
We gotta do the dreadnought when it comes in.
And it's gonna skip one phase. I think this phase probably is the.
I don't know. I don't know. I like it. I don't think it's too bad.
It just goes a little too. I mean, if you're gonna grind it, it just goes a little too long.
It feels a little too long.
Yeah.
But I think it feels less grindy because it's longer. Like, grind to me is like repetition.
Yeah, it's varied. It's varied, but it's long. So I think when I posted in the Patreon thing, I like it. It's varied. It's a little long. It could lose a phase. Ask me in a month.
Yeah.
It's like, ask me in a month. It's there's nothing I'm getting out of this experience that makes me want to grind it. Like what? So after you grind this, what is it? You get the tier 6 ship.
Yeah.
Well, so it's gonna take you anywhere between 30 and 60 days to get enough coupons for the free tier 6 ship. And the 30 days is only if they do enough of the double weekend, the double coupon weekends like they did this past weekend. It's really going to take you probably 45 to 60 days.
So you have to do this mission once a day for 45 to 60 days?
No, because it's over the course of 3 TFOs. So there'll be 2 other TFOs that you can also play that will grant you the coupons, the tokens. This is just the first one.
Yeah, I am not interested in like that's it. What did I learn story-wise from this mission? I don't even, what was it? What was this about? Like what?
Did you read the dialogue?
Yeah, but I mean,
okay,
but that also says something about this, is that it's not memorable. I didn't walk away going, oh, this moved the Ja'ula. Did this move the Ja'ula story forward?
No.
This was just.
This is to tease.
Is this another reenactment? Is that what this is? Is this another holodeck program?
They didn't expressly say that, no.
But it is.
It is,
right?
But they didn't say that.
Right, they don't say it.
So this is about the first offensive effort during the Klingon War for Starfleet, and the story-wise part of it is that it's teasing the Baran's involvement, and I'm pretty sure that what they're going to announce tomorrow or later today actually is that the next update, Rise of Discovery, next month will include the Baran and Lieutenant Landry.
Oh, I thought the Baran was available this Thursday.
No, that's the ship that you can fly. I'm talking about the Baran, Captain Lorca. Like in the story, in the Discovery story, we're gonna interact with Commander Landry, played by Rekha Sharma, and that it's gonna involve the Baran before it's destroyed and before Lorca switches. So
Jason, how did you even get this picture of me? Like, I don't even know, bro.
Where's the picture?
He put it in Twitch.
Oh God, I gotta log into Twitch now. All right, I'm logging out of this. So if somebody wants to join,
that's awesome.
Join up. I'm making room.
No, I am actually heading out too. It's a little too far into.
Yeah, I'm beat.
So after all of that, captains, we are so very grateful that you joined us for all of this. Thanks for sticking in at the tail end of the show, where we just kind of, relax and throw caution to the wind. Jason, you gotta tweet that, man. That's great.
Yeah, I gotta. Oh, how do I get it?
You'd have to. Here, let me see if I can. I'll copy the. Oh, I can't. Can I not? Oh, I can. Hold on. Copy.
You got it?
I think.
Because I can put it in production if you want.
Yeah, do it, please.
Please do.
So that's good. All right, captains, admirals, thank you so very much for joining us on the live recording of this episode. We are so very grateful that you've joined us, and it's time for bed. It's time to go. It's time to put Star Trek Discovery behind us and move along, move forward. So that's it. We're done. Say goodnight, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Command codes verified. Priority 1 message from Starfleet coming in on secured channel.